Hello and welcome to Terror of Your Skin, my RPG hangout show normally. And it looks like I'm all alone tonight, so I don't know what this show is gonna be. And apparently I have like one person in chat. So hey, you watching, this show's for you. Thank you for tuning in. Did you know that a person lose just through skin flake about 1.5 pounds of skin a year? So why not go all the way and take it all off and come join me tonight? Tear off your skin. Oh, there you go. Hello, Phil. How you doing there in chat? Hello, Doodle Squatch. How you doing? Tonight I wanted to talk a bit about... Oh, and Jim Johnny, it's been a while since I've seen you. Nice seeing you from Montreal, right? Yeah, and Soul Metal Dragon. Oh, there you go. People are pouring in. Glad to see you all, folks. Yeah, tonight, the topic of the show, and I might not go to the whole show. I might have another topic later on, depending if people join. But I wanted to talk about killing your darling. And that's a concept when you're in creative work of a different kind. In design, it's true as well, right? That sometimes you have an idea that you quite like, that doesn't quite work. And at some point you just have to get the guts and the chops to put it on the chopping block, right? To just say like, you know what? That doesn't work. I'm gonna fucking I'm gonna get rid of it. Oh, St. James. You too, it's been a while since I've seen you. Nice seeing you. I looked in. Well, summer's coming up. Yeah. And I was working on a Bastard Sword, and I had this concept of virtue that I quite like because I find I like the feel of it. I like how thematic it was. I like the idea was like you had like a bunch of virtue, 5 virtue that were arranged on a spectrum, and you had and I wanted to enforce kind of the personality of your character. I wanted it to incite you, not force you, but incite you to act according to roleplay your character according to his personality, right? And there's a whole thing of like the virtue existing on a spectrum between two extreme, the lack thereof, the extreme thereof. So your courage, the virtue, but if you have like not enough, you're coward. If you have too much, you're reckless, which is not good either. So this whole like Aristotelian idea there that I was kind of like bringing back, but I couldn't get it to work. Like I like the concept, and I tried many iteration of it. Couldn't get it to work. It didn't mesh with the rest of the mechanic of the game. It always felt like tacked on. Yeah. Yeah, Nicolas say, I like those as well, Max. I've been using something similar on my own game as well. Like you, I'm almost very divided on it. Yeah, I find it's not easy to, especially with what I'm trying to do with this game, right? The goal of a Bastard Sword has always been like a kind of an experimental game that I'm working on. I'm trying to solve an issue, answer a question. Can you have... Oh, you know what? I'm gonna put the fucking link in chat. If you want to join me, guys, in the conversation, you're welcome. You know the rules. If you don't know the rules, they're down in the description below. Read them before you join. Also, I'm not gonna add you to the room if I don't know who you are, right? Because like we had some incident in our community, and I don't want that here. But all the people there, like I get a vibe of who you are. Like yeah, Bastard Sword was always like meant to try to solve this issue. Can you have a game that's a little bit more on the crunchy side, but where the crunch serve the role play instead of getting in the way of it, right? Because we played a lot of Traveler, which is fairly rule light, right? It's a fairly simple game, so the rules don't get in the way of role play. And we play Total Party Skill system, and same thing, right? But if you go with some game like rather crunchier, oftentimes the game dragged down to a halt and it started to stay in character. So I'm always that's what I'm trying to solve. So every mechanic needs to be evaluated through that lens. And I'm rambling now. At some point, I had something I thought worked, but I think I just like convinced myself that it kind of worked. Um, I don't think it did really. Let me see. Da-da-da. Let me show what I had. How do I do present again? Like this? That works. Yeah. Like this, maybe. No, that's like this is better. Oh man. Is it a synesthetic system you've come up with? I don't know the word synesthetic. I'll have to look it up. It's rare that I get stumped on the word. I'm a big word guy. Oh, that's a helpful definition. Well, that doesn't help me. Chat GIMP user. Yeah. I'm a big Linux guy, so yeah. I do GIMP and Inkscape and all that fucking shit, right? Uh, you have to ask me that in a different word because I cannot get like the synesthetic meaning at a glimpse there. So I had the system here, right? And I say, oh, you know what? I'm gonna make a pool of virtue point for each aspect of a virtue. So each virtue is divided into aspect, one representing like the lack thereof, one representing the excess thereof, right? And you're gonna have a pool of a virtue point for each aspect that you can spend to get bonus dice. Bastard Sword is a dice pool system, so you can spend those points to get bonus dice on roll when you enact one aspect of the virtue. And to replenish those virtue points, you have to expend both pool for one side of a for one virtue. And so and the maximum number of points you can have for one virtue for the both side together is linked to your personal in your wisdom. So that touched a lot of things that I kind of liked. I like the idea that if you want to be a balanced character, well, you will have to act in balanced way to get your bonus dice, right? Because if you decide, you know what, maybe I want to be sometime prudent, sometimes I want to be daring, you split your point amongst the both. If you only act daring all the time, then you won't be able to spend the prudent point. So then you won't be able to replenish your point. So it kind of incentivizes you to act in both way. But the system always felt like clunky, and it always and that like and it's way too much. I felt like it was way too much bookkeeping with all those uh all those pool of point and that was like the for the longest time was kind of like the best situation I had, but I wasn't really happy with it. And at some point I was thinking like, you know what, maybe I need to fucking cut the system altogether. But I gave it a final try. I'll show you later. But what was important to me, I wanted the system to, and also like because you can always already like spend spirit point to gain bonus dice, which spirit represent your moral and your stamina. It's a mix of both. Since you can already like spend spirit point to get bonus dice, now you have like those spirit point you can spend, and also those virtue point you can spend from 10 different pool, and it just became insane at some point. So I wasn't too happy with that, and it always like felt like a tacked on as a system, which kind of was, right? There was something I liked about it. I like that it pushed you to act according to both aspects of a virtue, depending on how you report, how you split your point, right? I thought that was a good thing. I like the fact that you have the replenishing when you acted on both sides. I liked that the link with the persona and wisdom. I thought that was a good idea. Uh, Yeah, Nicola asked, did it drag things down? I can see something new initially taking some time to get used to. I don't think it may necessarily spell immersion break or through. It did kind of broke things down because there's also this thing of like justification, right? And then you have to think like, oh, am I? Oh, there you go. There you go. The skin advocate, the pro
Hey,
skin advocate, feel the trio.
the skin of the what?
The pro skin advocate, because like it's tear off your skin, right? But
Oh,
you're
that's
always
right. The advocate. Yeah.
yeah, you're always the one coming back and saying, well, you know what? Maybe you should keep your skin on.
It's
My point
hard.
of
It's hard on this stream. But you
it's
got
hard
to
on what? On the
on this
stream that
stream to keep your skin.
well, yeah. Well, I do my best to make you comfortable enough for you to remove it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the immersion breaker.
Cold
Oh, how you
shit.
been doing, Phil? Like, do you have any thought to what I said so far? You just like didn't listen at all.
I think I was about a minute behind.
Oh yeah.
Um, I haven't seen this graphic before.
No.
This looks new.
Oh, just a section I cut off from the character sheet, but from the new character sheet that
Yeah, but with the boxes.
hasn't been made public yet.
No.
Yeah, that has been the way for a while, but I never updated it in the previous character sheet. The previous character sheet still had the old way that I wasn't happy with. But this is not current anymore. I'm just going from what I had and what I'm changing from. Explaining like in that like in the little bracket you would put your maximum virtue point for that aspect, and in the bigger bracket you would put like in the bigger box you would put like your current spirit point for that aspect. So yeah, I just thought it was like too much bookkeeping.
Well, one thing I would say is to kind of like the overarching idea that you kind of put forward, where it's like maybe too clunky, maybe tacked on.
Yeah.
Is that this isn't something that you really have to look at during the game. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what what I was replying to Nicolas Camargo here.
Okay.
It was a bit immersion breaking because there are points you could spend on each roll. Basically, each time you had to make a roll, then you had to make this evaluation, or am I acting like a zealot here? Am I acting like a humbly here? Am I acting insensitive? Like you always had to make this decision about like what aspect of a virtue were you representing if you wanted to benefit from those points.
Sure, and I felt like, but hopefully you have that figured out before your turn. That you're very zealotous right now.
Yeah, but maybe you think you are, and like it could lead to some disagreement. Like for a group like we have, I wouldn't see that as a problem.
Wasn't that what you're doing?
What?
You're making it for
us?
The crunchy rule system for the good role player?
Yeah, but actually what I'm making is I'm making a crunch. I want to make a crunch rule system that's going to make you a good role player.
Oh. I don't know if learning a rule system. Sorry, just to answer your question now, I don't know if learning a rule system. I guess you don't know either, but
I don't know either.
Is learning a rule system going to make you a good role player? It's kind of part of being a good role player.
Yeah, I want it to push people in the right direction, right? And I want to give like enough crunch for people that want that crunch, but in a way that don't get into the way of like don't bug down the game, right? I felt like that kind of bugged down the game.
Well, I don't want to attack your core concept, so I guess unless you want me to.
Well, you go ahead if you got
okay.
something.
I would say that it seems like if you're going to have a crunchy rule set, you're going to have more opportunities for the mother may I question, especially with this system, because you're going to be bargaining with the GM, right?
Exactly, and that's something I didn't want. I didn't want this bargaining with that's a big part of the reason why I wanted to kill that fucking system.
Yeah, but if you have a good role player, then this is not a bad system. You just say,
yeah,
because you've described the system before as having like the system kind of hinges on this idea of using keywords in your what you're doing part of your turn.
Action, like I'm trying to make the mechanics use action word, so just like stating what mechanic you use actually form a sentence that describe your action, right?
So these are like adjectives that you could apply to your action.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you
daringly
scratch
my butt.
Yeah. You got yourself some spirit. Uh,
Yeah.
you digging for spirit in there?
But also like the thing like gaining bonus, like having point you spend because spirit is such a core mechanic of of the game, right?
Yeah. Have you
Which is
talked
more
about how this ties into spirit yet?
yeah, like
Okay.
those like those were kind of like extra spirit point you could spend when acting in a virtuous way, right? In a way
Mm-hmm.
exemplifying an extreme virtue, right? Uh, and I found like he added too much noise to the core mechanic of spirit point because it was too similar. I wanted both to be linked, but I felt like this wasn't the way. And
There's a lot of ways to get spirit. I like that this is the only way that you kind of. I don't want to call it passive, but it's kind of like you're not deliberately trying
well,
to
Phil,
regain spirit,
it's
right?
because Phil, you know more than I told the people yet.
Okay.
You're
Sorry.
replying to the next thing that I'm gonna show off now.
Yeah, just let you finish the presentation here.
Yeah, because and that's what Phil was referring to is now what I'm doing here, right? So we still have the five virtue, each with two extreme aspect, but now instead of having box, we have circle, which is totally different system. But that's the thing. I decided, you know what? Instead of giving you bonus point, that or like instead of being like a pool of point you can spend as spirit point, what it's gonna do is gonna replenish, it's gonna refill your spirit. So when you act according to one aspect of a virtue, you're gonna gain some spirit point back. So now it took away the problem of having like two similar system kind of competing. So now you had like there's one system you can spend spirit point, and now it's just another way to regain spirit point, right? And you can also regain spirit point to sleeping, to merrymaking, to feasting, to victory, different way, right? Every time that it's gonna give you everything that's gonna give, because that is also a thing. Another thing about Bastard Sword, it's a game about the hardship of life and going through depression and being tired.
If at least half of your games aren't about how depressed you are, you're not playing it right.
Yeah,
Is that right?
yeah, exactly. Martin Webb says that Pendragon Inspire. I'm a big fan of Pendragon, so of course, but I'm a big fan of Pendragon, but the way they do the virtue system in Pendragon, I felt was I don't like it as much as I used to anymore because it kind of like take a player agency a bit too much away, and sometimes to resolve like if you try to use your passion and your virtue, it can involve like three rolls, which something that I fucking bothers me. But so like it's kind of inspired, but I try to clean it up and make it a little simpler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for sure, Pendragon's a pretty big influence on you. You've mentioned it as your favorite game a number of times.
Yes. One of my favorite game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pendragon is one of the game that I think is gonna make you a better role player, but for totally different reason, not for system reason, for setting reason, because you're gonna play a human knight. So now so you have to figure out something else to make your character interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Virtues are
Uh,
a good way to do that.
exactly. Now you have to think about your personality. Shauner was asking, what crunch have you tried tearing off your system? The only thing I'm trying tearing off is skin.
Yeah.
What crunch? I'm trying to. Well, I don't want. I want my dice roll to be resolved. Like you roll them. You roll once. You get one result, and it's kind of resolved, right? So I hate those system where like when I first designed the game, when I was first working on it, I kept the mechanic that if you roll once, they remove success, like you have in World of Darkness,
Yeah.
and I took it off because I said like it now you have to interpret too much, right? Now you have to
Mm-hmm.
count your success and then count negative success and then you have to do the math, right? It's just like one more step that really doesn't add that much, just like raise the difficulty level in consequence, and that's it, right? This is the kind of crunch I don't like. I'm trying to not have things that are many steps for resolution. In combat, you do an opposed roll, and then you have like the effect of the result, the action. So there's another step there where you're gonna roll damage or you're gonna impose some effect and stuff like that. But then because they're opposed roll, like the two characters' turn is taken there. So at least there's that. It speed up combat a lot. So there's that. I don't know if that answer your question, Shauner.
The answer is no. He is not taking any crunch off.
I'm not. Well, I am kind of, right? I'm
Okay.
looking for a specific kind of crunch.
Yeah, you're refining your crunch.
I'm refining my crunch. I want
to a nice, fine, crunchy mist.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not jawbreaker, right? It's like there's mechanic to interact with, but they're there to serve the role play, I hope, as much as possible. Yeah. What kind of crunch are you talking about? I guess it's kind of the same answer. I'm not
what
sure.
What is crunch?
What is crunch? I'm saying it's not exactly a rule light system. It's not the crunchiest thing, but it's not exactly a rule light system, you know. You have a lot of fucking skill. An insane amount of skill, some would say. But hello, Doc Flamingo. Nice seeing you again.
Hey, Doc Flamingo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the question is it because what is crunch? You want to talk about that?
We can talk about that after, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Let me explain that, because now I showed that, but I didn't explain how it works.
Okay.
So here, what I came up with. Now you have like 10 points of for each virtue, which is gonna be like split between each aspect, right? There's a line in the middle, but this line is gonna shift. You're gonna be able to shift it, and actually, you're gonna be able to make 2 lines. And the space between the 2 lines cannot be greater than your wisdom score, and no line can be further away from the center than your persona score. And the box between the 2 lines don't need to be checked. Oh, and important thing. Now you check a box at at the end of every scene. You can check one box from one aspect of one virtue that you enacted during the scene. That's a big difference. So instead of being on roll, that now you have to reflect on, okay, am I enacting this virtue or that virtue or this, what?
Yeah.
Now it's at the end of the scene. So I think it's much less in the way.
Mm-hmm.
It's a much less frequent thought process, and it's much more obvious every scene. Like, well, you know what? In that scene, I've been kind of like cunning, right? So okay, I'm gonna check a box of cunning or devious.
Mm-hmm.
And
now, how many boxes are you getting? When I say box, how many of these dots do you get to fill in or check off between scenes?
One each scene.
Okay.
I thought about allowing you to think to check 2 or more, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that we played with that area a bit. Maybe
that could be your persona.
We thought about that. The problem we had then is that that's there's always going to be one aspect, I think, that's going to be pretty obvious. And then when you try to think of a second one, you say like, oh, well, okay, I've been devious during that scene.
Yeah.
But I also, the other ones are always going to be a stretch, right? There's always one that's going to jump to your face somewhat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want it to get in the way. So this can change. I might change the number of bugs and stuff like that. There's still some more testing to be done and trial. But so far, it's
another thing you could do is one on the left side, one on the right side.
What?
So you could do one on the left side, one on the right side if you wanted to give them 2.
Oh, 2. Yeah, but then again, sometimes you won't be able to.
Well, then you don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll try with 1 for now, because, and once you feel once you checked all the dot, from one line, so from one virtue, then you regain half your lost spirit point. And then you uncheck all the dot from the line. And the dot between the two lines don't have to be checked, right? They're kind of excluded from the system. So what that means is that if you have higher wisdom, you need to check less box. And we say like, it's like you're more introspective, so you can like benefit from the reward of acting according to your values more often, right? If you have higher persona, then you can put one of those lines further to one side. That's like you have like this big personality. People with high persona, they always kind of be a bit insane, right? They're like those very passionate people that are like all in on one side, right?
Convicted.
So, yeah, exactly. So now, like, if you have like a 5 persona, which is pretty fucking high, you can exclude like a whole fucking side. Like, you can say like, you know what? I'm very fucking devout. I'm gonna exclude the whole like sacrilegious skeptic side. And now you only have to take devout bucks, right? To regain your spirit.
Okay. So if you had, let's say, for instance, a persona 5, but a wisdom 3.
Well, then yeah.
Then you could go all the way to the very end and then 3 back.
Yeah.
And then you're working with 7
bucks of
7 zealot.
of devout zealot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can like completely offset the center.
Okay.
So obviously
but you can have more than 5 on one side in that situation.
If you can have more than yes, exactly. Yes. You can have more than 5 in one side. Yeah, if your persona is high enough and your wisdom is low enough. So I think that's interesting for like the play between persona and wisdom. I think making it at the end of a scene should be out of the way enough, and just regaining spirit, then it plays much more nicely with the core mechanic of the game.
So here's just to kind of, is it devil's advocate if I just try to shit on everything? I don't know.
Well,
is that the opposite? It's the opposite of devil's advocate.
No, if you try, no, depends. If you it depends. It's devil advocates if you don't believe what you're gonna say.
It's definitely devils. If the reward is half your spirit, that seems like a really good reward.
Half your lost spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same reward as if you slept, right?
The problem with that, the problem I might first see with that is, it's a real slow, and it seems kind of slow too, right? Because you have to get, it's the number of the minimum is 10 minus wisdom scenes.
Yes.
And that's like probably more than a session.
Yes, that's not meant to be something you're gonna trigger all the time.
Yeah. And potentially you could trigger them like pretty quickly because you're gonna have 5 different levels.
Exactly.
So you could be like lined up to trigger it like 3 times.
Exactly.
Between every scene.
Triggering the first time is gonna take longer, but then like you're gonna have like, you're gonna trigger one, but you're gonna have another one that's like nearby being triggered, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and also like in transition scene, or like in time skip if you want, you also get one. Like even if you just say like, you know what, we have like a day off, I'm just gonna go to the temple and stuff like that. Well, okay, I trigger like a devout, right? Oh, I'm gonna go to the brothel, trigger at the bulge, right? Stuff like that, right?
Yeah. So is half spirit a lot? Half lost spirit.
Half your lost spirit.
It depends.
That's the same thing as you gain from sleeping. Okay. Sleeping a full night of sleep, right? You regain half your lost spirit. Okay. So, and that's why I'm going with that for now, because I'm trying. That's also something I'm trying. I'm trying to homogenize things as much as possible. I don't want to have a system that like, okay, now you regain half, but now it's quarter, and now it's gonna be like something else, like a arbitrary number. That's part of the thing I'm trying to do. I'm not sure exactly. There might be still like play with that in playtest and stuff like that. still early. I just like came up with that this week. We played a bit with my partner this week.
Yeah, I'm curious to see it. This kind of system, the only way you can play test it is if you. I've got like a few months, like a campaign.
Yeah, 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 and
see if it feels weird.
And one thing also we thought is like maybe you pick one aspect, but you check 2 dot. So then it
like your
goes a little
specialty.
faster. It goes a little fast. No, like every time, like it goes a little faster, but it feels kind of arbitrary. But you would keep like the spread with the wisdom and the person are the same, but then you feel it like twice as fast, technically. So
Why?
That's
Why
something
do that?
exactly like it's just like
to add another little thing.
Yeah, just another like layer of complexity.
Yeah.
So basically, like, well, I could draw on that, right? You put like, let's say like a character would have like a person of 3 and a wisdom of 4, right? So you could like have like a one line.
Probably shouldn't choose white spray paint as your.
Yeah, probably. Oh yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, I don't know why.
What is happening?
So you could have like a line there. What I say to like and a line. Whoops, fuck's sake, man. I said he had a wisdom of 4. I couldn't see my keyboard. That's the thing. So you could have like now with like that we'd be like pretty centered, but then if you have like person of 3, then you can go like offset like that and be like that. So now like in that example, you need like with courage you need to be like pretty even. In fate you can be like more often devout than sacrilegious, and stuff like that. So that's kind of the idea that I had there, right? And also every time that you fill a line, not only regain half your spirit point, but actually you can shift one of those line one way or the other, well, toward one in the extreme, because there's no real reason to bring it back to the center. I guess you could, if you decide, you know what, I want more back, but then you would just
it's
like
called
one
for cool reasons because your character is evolving.
But I mean, like you could, but that's the thing that you could always like shift. You just have to shift the other line, right? If you want, because there's no reason to want to have to check more bucks.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So you don't want to bring the line closer. You want to bring them further away. So every time you replenish your one virtue, you can shift one line one direction or the other. Well, toward the extreme.
Just make the box a box, and then you can shift the box.
Yeah. Well, drawing a box is annoying.
Why are you making people like punish themselves to change like?
Oh, because like you can have up to your wisdom between the line, but they don't. They're not gonna start there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So you have to shift the line, and at some point when you reach the wisdom, then if you shift one line, then the other is gonna follow.
Oh,
but
okay.
you
So
kind of have to
automatically
earn it.
follow.
Yeah, you kind of have to earn it. Yeah. And if you increase your wisdom, if you increase your persona, it doesn't increase the bucks right away, right? So
I think you give them full box on creation. That's how I do it.
Well, it's on character creation, depending on like it's a life path character creation, and depending on the choice you make, it's gonna shift those lines. So when you're gonna start with the personality defined by your life experience, which is just like real life.
It's gonna be just like real life.
It's just like real life. It's pure simulation.
Oh, Dice Tales has a good point.
You get trauma.
If you have to erase over and over and over again, what happens to the sheet? It's just gonna end up with a teared mess.
Well, you have to buy the big pad of sheet that we sell on the web store.
It's a separate supplement.
Yeah, exactly. And then you just like make a new sheet. But yeah, that's always the problem. Like sheets are gonna be available as PDF as well, and
capitalism.
then I'm gonna make it form fillable shit if you want to do that. But yeah, sorry, I'm beyond on the. But that's always the problem with all fucking character sheet, right? If you have to keep
Yeah,
track of, keep it track on a scrap of paper if you want. Yeah.
it's true. You could
So
have
guys,
just a. You could have
test
like a
that.
the SAT test.
Yeah.
You could just have the virtues on a pad, and then just like tear it out every time.
Yeah. Roll for the will to get out of bed. That could be a real thing, right? If you don't get enough sleep and stuff like that.
Just like real life.
Just like real life.
Look at the arm on that mage. Is that a wizard that's crushing it with a sombrero?
Is that the Tom Bombadil? I don't know.
I don't know. He's got a
The
shank
sombrero.
wand.
Oh yeah. I actually like that stuff in Pendragon, but I don't think I want to use it with any other system. Yeah, I used to like it much more than I do now. Oh, Janet from Another Planet. Hello, welcome. It's like that's she's doing a show with Bruce Lombardo when they review movies, stuff like that. Nice seeing you around. We've been on a stream before together, I think. Dice Tale, serious question: is virtue relative to the character? Say I'm playing a North Chieftain, my virtue would be very different than a Paladin's. Well, they're based on your life experience, and then you make them yourself. But no, actually, like the game is kind of like a it's like a moral objectivist game. Don't know what a virtue are. What?
At last.
At last. No, those are what
that's what's cool about orcs and stuff. They have this. I think the theme of moral objectivity is kind of cool with like barbarian tribes and just to kind of see how it all fits together.
But that's the thing. They like the orcs are gonna have like the same virtue, but they're gonna value them differently. Like they're gonna value different aspect of them, right? So they might be all want to be like toward daring, reckless, and well, in my system, they're very devout. Orcs are very religious.
Everyone is. How are the desert goblins? That's I'm really curious how the desert goblins are coming along.
They're very devious. But yeah, so they're gonna favor one direction of the virtue or the other, but it's gonna be on the same 5 basic virtue. Yeah. Like I think I ever said him that the game is mostly for realistic setting, but having nature come into play would be interesting. That's what I've done. Yeah, like I prefer like more realistic setting. I still have like orcs and elves and shit like that.
You described a really can we call it crunchy? I don't know. Magic system before. Where's like 6 realms of magic and
yes. Yeah.
It's fucking rad.
And one of them is linked to the virtue as well. Like the fate-based magic, if you want, like the divine magic. Your god got like virtue that he values, and so you better like align yourself to those values, get more spell points.
You should put one attached to temperance, like disciplined, like a mind over matter shit.
Yeah, well, like I don't know if I'm gonna provide god or just say like make your own god and pick one virtue, like one aspect of one virtue, like or 2 that you very values, right? I was thinking of doing like 1 major, 1 minor. So yeah. So that's the virtue system also. Like that's also one of the reason I wanted to keep it, because like I had this magic that was like linked to it. Divine, they have like it's linked to virtue, and they're also you're also gonna pick a skill that the god likes. So if you go to like crafting, whatever, just like your capacity to cast spells is gonna be linked to that to some extent. Yeah.
I really want to play this game.
Dice still say to well, you will. Margot said that sounds like a good way to approach it. Your nature and your character as a whole determine what's virtuous. Well, it's because like I said, like it's of course, like we depending on your vision, like some people like are gonna say like, oh, you should be balanced and stuff like that. Even I don't really see that, right? I'm not a very balanced guy. What I present there, like, like I try to
see it as a virtue.
What?
You see it as a virtue. I don't know if I'm maybe not in the way that this game is, but
Well,
being balanced.
what I present them, I present those virtue. I try to be as neutral as possible, and that's why I always like put like two term on each side as well, like craven, prudent, because you know what, being craven is like sound like a vice, but being prudent is not bad, right? It's not a bad thing. Like me personally, I'm much more like toward the side like I like humility a lot. For me, it's very important. I like discipline a lot. I like
Mhm.
I'm a very devout guy. Those kind of thing. I'm not
Yeah,
prudent at all. So
easy.
and the way, and I'm very frank. I don't lie at all, right? Too honest oftentimes get me in trouble all the time. But I'm not like that. Like I'm like that because that's what I see as virtuous, right? I don't see balance as optimal in my own view of the world.
Mhm.
But what I present here is not my own view of the world, right? So you're free to basically what I'm saying is like I'm full of vices.
Yeah.
But how would you rate yourself there, Phil?
Me? Okay,
Yeah,
let's go. Probably more on the prudent side. Uh, More devout side.
yeah,
I probably split honesty.
yeah,
Uh, and oof, that pride one. I'm probably split on that one too. Debauched Epicurean. Probably more debauched.
yeah. Already.
Yeah. I it's like I'm debauched and insensitive. Like the
Yeah.
shitty ones on both.
And that's the thing too. We can look at that and say like, well, that's probably
Yeah.
where I would score,
Yeah.
which is one thing, and then there's probably like where I would like to score, right? We all are
Right.
like work in
Sure.
progress, throughout our life.
I
Yeah,
would agree with that. That's not where I want to be.
yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
yeah. Even myself, like
Try
I
to be
feel like where
honest.
I am, I'm a pretty like extreme guy. Like I don't really stand in the center, but
Yeah.
there's definitely place where I say I should probably go back to the center a bit. I'm probably like
Mhm.
way too much into the extreme, right? But
I don't know.
oh yeah, I'm not a very sane individual, right?
Who decides that stuff, you know?
It's the DSM. I'm
Yeah.
kidding. Crunch is pretty flower that smell really bad.
I don't get it.
Poetic. It's attractive.
It is.
But then for some people, yeah, you think like there's a lot there too.
It's
But then
basically like, but
when you get nose close, what?
there's definitely like viewing a game as it's been evolving. There's definitely like you get to end up with a lot of options, especially during combat
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But it seems like a lot of stuff has to do with sort of those downtime moments, those between scene
I'm
moments.
I'm trying to shift a lot of things there, right?
And I think that it's almost like you're playing a little mini game between scenes. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with anything. I don't have a problem with hybrid board game role playing. Like I kind of enjoy it sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. But like I want but I want the combat to feel fast too, and I want the
Yeah.
combat to feel cinematic. I want the combat to feel dynamic. That was very important for me.
But it's kind of
Uh,
like you get to have the role playing be kind of streamlined, and then you can kind of you step out and then do your point your character where it should be going. I don't know. I don't know how to
well,
describe it.
yeah, and I don't want to
Kind
have
of Pendragon. Yeah.
Pendragon is at the end of session. You do the winter phase,
And a
which is like
session.
an
Yeah.
old mini game. But I don't want to have like too many uh thing to do between at the end of the scene either. So
Yeah,
like
scenes
now I
can
put
come
that
pretty quick. Yeah.
exactly now I put that one right.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna add like another one. That's probably gonna be the thing you do at the end of the scene. You just think like, how did I act in that scene? Was I
Right.
devious? Was I? And I think also like, if you decide that you wanted your character to be vain, right? And then like every scene you say like, well, you know what? Now I act humbly. in that scene again. I was very meek, right? Stuff like that. And
Mhm.
maybe it's time to shifting, or maybe you realize, maybe our character is not who I thought he was, right?
Yeah, it's kinda
Yeah,
cool too, like, 'cause in the next scene, you'll have a really good idea if you're going
it's like a reminder.
I guess this kind of does what you're wanting,
Yeah,
where a gamey person is going to be encouraged to role play,
the
but it's
personality.
like, "Oh, I this would be a good scene to be daring."
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
maybe
exactly. And
that's
it's
how I
like
will
at the end of
approach
the
this
scene, it's
scene.
like a reflection of like, am I like almost like a mini micro reflection of like, am I role playing the character I decided I want to role play, right? Am I
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that too. It does both. It's
yeah. So that's the reason why I wanted to have like this virtue system in there, right? That was
Mhm.
a big stated goal of it.
I think this is probably, like, after thinking about it, I think this does what you're trying to get done well, because it sets up the scene, it reminds the player to role play,
Yeah.
and it rewards the player for role playing. So,
Yeah. And if you're just doing a one shot, because like you could ignore it
sure,
pretty easy.
of
So,
course,
it's
ignore everything.
you can, as we do when we play our game.
Yeah.
Dialectic and Max can then sell
I'm still not
his
convinced we've actually played Traveler.
played some of it.
Played something.
Can sell many supplement books for different culture and race. Maybe that should be the way maybe I'm gonna release like Bastard Sword like in a trimmed down version, like human only and stuff like that, right? I don't know. I'll see. I'll see.
Mhm.
I want to release something someday. The we,
Sure.
we we call in the video game industry, we call like the minimum viable product. That's what we
Yeah.
strive for.
Yeah, there's a lot of video game industry not viable product. And,
Well, they have a different view of what minimal viable is.
different standards.
Different standards, very low. That's why they sell you like half done game because it's
Yeah.
minimal viable.
That's why you wait till 75% off on Steam.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Anyways. Anyways.
fair RPG goal right there. Well, I'm glad if you think so. People will pay real money to find out what virtue mean to a Tabaxi Dragonborn hybrid. I don't do hybrid.
Well, he's saying on your shitty supplements you're gonna let release with your cultures.
Yeah, that's gonna be a whole book in itself. Like,
Yeah,
the
there you go.
hybridization of the different species for sexual deviant and stuff like
Yeah.
that, right?
Here's your sexual deviant book.
Yeah.
Bestseller.
It seemed there's a bit of a. Oh, I forgot to turn one of my lights. Am I in dark?
I haven't seen you in the last hour.
There you go.
Wondering where you are.
Yeah. It seems there's a bit of resource keeping management.
Yes.
Yes, but I think it's much less than the previous system that I showed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that we were just talking about that, it's all done in the scene.
Yeah.
You either take the point or you don't, and then you
Mm.
kind of look at it and say, okay, I should try and be more frank in this scene, and then move on to
Yeah.
the next scene. So it's almost just like a quick
Quick personality
checkpoint,
check,
like a
right?
checkpoint.
Yeah.
Checkpoint for the role player to make sure he's on track.
Yeah. That's
I
the
kind of
idea.
like it thinking about it in those terms.
Yeah, they say a lot of erasing, refilling, wonder about launching the character sheet. Yeah,
Yeah.
just redo your character sheet regularly.
That's why you got to get the pad.
Or you put it in you laminate it, and then you just like do it with dry erase.
Dry erase mark. Perfect.
like a sane person.
You just need to put this part in a dry erase. Like you just print this off.
No, pretty much the whole sheet.
There's a lot of erasing.
There's a lot of erasing. There's a lot of like, yeah. If I may back you guys up a bit, trying to follow what does this mechanic govern in game. I don't know if you caught up there because I'm pretty far behind in the comment now. I hope you caught up. It's a virtue linked to regaining like spirit point. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Personality. Yeah. So you role play if you role play according to your personality, if you act according to your personality, that's the personality of your character, you're gonna be rewarded for it. Even though role plays its own reward.
And you are rewarded spirit, and it's one of the main resources in the game.
Yeah. Because that's what the game is about.
Everything. It's a little bit health. It's a little bit magic. It's a little bit willpower.
Yeah. Well, what I always say like that, like spirit is your moral and your
Around.
stamina.
Yeah.
So if you get depressed, you're gonna lose some spirit and stuff like that. And that's why like merrymaking, feasting and stuff like that, like spending time with people you like, is gonna give you spirit, but
The
also
inner fire.
your inner fire. Exactly.
Yeah.
I went with that because like I used to be an athlete, a pretty serious athlete.
I've heard. Yeah.
And I also like dealt with a lot of like mental health problems and shit like that.
Did
And
you
at some
find that
point,
they were tied together? Were you an athlete
yes,
and dealing with mental health at the same time?
yes. Well, if you go to have a training session and stuff like that, doesn't matter if you're tired because you didn't sleep enough. Doesn't matter if you are depressed. The effect is gonna be the same. You're gonna underperform. You're gonna be low energy and stuff like that. That's what spirit represent, right?
Gotcha.
And it's the same thing as well. Like when they torture people by sleep deprivation or by emotional, like all like those two mechanic in the human psyche are very linked. Sleeping and like rest, physical
Yeah.
rest, and emotional fortitude in a sense. And that's part of the thing. That's part of the thing I wanted to. I don't know why I like it. That's a weird game. It's a weird. It's a fantasy adventuring game about being depressed and the hardship of life, and how it's important to have good time with your friend.
Just hang out with my friends and drink. The
Exactly.
game.
Exactly. Like you can go venture into dungeon and stuff like that, but you have to remember sometime you have to enjoy the good aspect of life as well. You have to go to the
Yeah.
tavern and just have a drink.
Okay.
So James, I want to play this. Yeah, well,
Like
let's
you
do
say
some.
that, but it's kind of cool in that it gives you a lot more avenues to recover. I think that's a good thing that not a lot of people are doing.
Why am I not doing this? Yeah. Um yeah, and I didn't want it to be something, and also like because like sleeping always regain you half of your lost spirit point. That's pretty much the fastest way to do it. But like it's kind of like a, what is it, like this run that if you always like do half the distance that you have remaining to do.
You never get full.
Is it Zenos theorem of a? Well, yeah, exactly. You never
Oh,
reach
sorry.
this.
I'm not smart enough to know what that's called. Yeah.
I forgot exactly like the Thenos or Zenos. I forgot exactly, but yeah. So like just sleeping alone is never gonna get you full. It's gonna get you like basically like at one point off, right? Over many days, right? Just like
Yeah.
over time.
Do the playing music by the fire guy, is
Yeah.
he also recovering a fraction?
No, this one is like he's gonna make a test, right? And based on the result of the test, people present that participate in the activity regain spirit point.
So you could get your last spirit point that way through the bar.
Yes.
Get some additive spirit versus
yeah. And if like
I noticed that you're having division in your game.
What do you mean division?
You have to divide your lost spirit by 2.
Oh yeah, that's the only like that's I only have division by 2, I think.
Justin is going to be upset with that, isn't he?
Yeah.
He said he
But
hates math.
it's also something you don't have to do really on the fly, because it's when you sleep or at the end of a scene when you do the thing there, right? So it's not like, oh, you're in the middle of combat, now make division, right?
Yeah, divide by 2, quick.
They're always like I try to always like keep them in moments like those kind of mechanic. I reserve them for moments that are kind of down a bit, so they're not like the most. It's not like action-packed scene that now you have to make a advanced map, right?
Capitalizing on the 20% out of character moments. I don't know.
Well, is it even out of character? It's just like because it's just like
It's gonna
between
be a
your
little
turn.
bit out of character.
It's something you can do between
I
your
guess it
turn.
doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you do it like while the GM narrate like the morning scene, right? Or
Just
whatever.
take a massive turn.
Yeah. Yeah. Discord campaign right now. I'm gonna do something soonish. I don't know when it's gonna be exactly, but I need to which is gonna be like with pre-made character because my character creation is not quite finished yet. and by
I
not
try to
wasting.
tell Max once a week to run Bastard
Yeah,
Sword.
yeah. But I'm finishing a few more things. That was one of them that was bugging me that I wanted to finish to fix first. And now I'm happy with, like, I would be willing to try more with that. And I'm working on a quick start guide, so you don't have to read the whole thing if you don't want to. If you just jump in the session and stuff like that, and then I'll be there to guide you. But it should come soonish, so keep an eye open. Yeah. Maybe use token during play and mark it on the sheet when the session end. That could be yeah, that could definitely be an idea. But if you knock the table out and your token move, that can be annoying as well.
Now you got to get some specialty tokens.
You put your sheet with magnet on a metal sheet, and then you put like little neodymium magnet.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, perfect. It's very simple.
And
Make
each
a
one
layer
has the
first.
symbol of
Oh,
something.
this is our just picture I extracted from the character sheet for the purpose of that stream, so it doesn't matter at all. Yeah, yeah, I have them working on a different layer. I could just like discard that and that's say, yeah. Probably you could get away with the post-it notes. So yeah, I think you already have a separate sheet would work. Yeah, post-it note would work as well. That's a good idea. Yeah. People that are bipolar use those scale. They have yeah, yeah. Well, maybe that's part of where the design come from. Not saying anything.
Everyone has two things going.
Two
Never.
poles.
Yeah.
Is having two poles bad?
Um,
Having more than two would be worse, no?
Question is, what does more than two look like? Yeah.
Yeah. Can you have only one pole?
That's what I got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You dancing on it?
I'm making a penis joke right now.
Oh, I was thinking
We
it
can
was
move
a
on.
joke. Or you could be an old school badass, acetate cover and grease pencil. Yeah, exactly. That works too. Yeah. Now you're talking about language. You could build a slide rule so to calculate what the best value start would be.
Smart.
If you want a power game that in the character creation, if you want to power game your character, it's gonna be possible, but that's not the intended purpose of it.
Yeah, you could have a Bastard Sword proprietary abacus, and like set it up.
Yeah. Why not? I'm gonna
I
sell
don't
the
know.
game in a box. Player won't be changing line on every turn. Well, you're not supposed to be on every turn. So
Yeah,
that's good if you don't do it
it's
on
at
every
the end
turn.
of every scene.
Yeah, every scene. Turn this bastard into Starfleet battle. Yeah. Could work. Yeah.
Starfleet Bastards.
Oh, the little wizard's my own art. Oh, that's nice. That's cool. Look badass. With a shiv. Is that a
Yeah.
shiv that you got?
And like a slightly pointy sombrero.
Oh, Martin Webb say I hate monster PCs. I do too. And one thing I say also is that like I have like 9 races, right? Which are basically human, dwarf, halfling, elf, faun, which are like the furries, and trolls,
Desert
and
Goblin.
or goblin, hobgoblin. Yeah. And but they're divided in like 3 culture. So which human is like a human, dwarf, and halfling. So basically, like dwarf and halfling, they're just like variation of human. They're shorter, and like there's all this story about that. And then like the orc culture, which is orc, goblin, hobgoblin, and then the fae, which is the elf, the faun, and the troll, right? And I say if you play, you do a campaign, you do a human campaign, you do a fae campaign, or you do an orc campaign. Like I uh, I I caution about like trying to mix them both, right? Trying to mix like having some orc with some elf with some, if you want to do it, like do it at your own risk. But it's not the intended purpose. You just if you want to try different experience. But so there's that.
So
What do
are
you
the
think?
orcs like intelligent at all, or
Yeah.
Just like
They're not
barbarian
they're not
people.
the smartest, but like yeah, they're like kind of Mongol horde. They have horses. What?
Okay.
Is
No,
that
no,
racist?
I thought you said something else.
What?
Mongoloid?
No, I didn't say Mongoloid. I said Mongol or horde.
Yeah,
You know my relation with the H's.
yeah. With the
Yeah,
H's.
H's are hard to say to me for me.
Yeah. Just drop them. Just get them out.
Yeah, or add them somewhere else. I just move them
Yeah.
around. I had a friend who used to call me like the Robin Hood of H. You would say the
Mm.
Robin Hood of like I still H from word that got them and put them in words that don't. Yeah, but yeah,
Cool.
so that's for Monster PCs. But maybe I'm just gonna cut it for the first iteration. I don't know. I'll see. Because also like I wanted to make a kind of like generic fantasy and let people play what they want with this first iteration. And then I'm gonna make like another version that is gonna be like where you play like operative of the Catholic Church doing going to fight supernatural enemies and entities like spiritual enemies
Like
in
the witches of Dunvale.
in Renaissance Europe. Exactly. But like super Catholic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get fucking canceled hard for that. That's when I'm gonna be done with you all.
Like, what are you
I'm
guys,
ready to quit
Catholic?
the internet forever. What?
It's like, what are you guys, Catholic? No, we're super Catholic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Might get
Smart.
excommunicated. Yeah.
Oh,
I just want just what I want in the RPG that mirror my sucky life. That isn't that all
Guy
you
steals
know
what?
people that mirror my sucky life.
Yeah. He has an unbuilt stand-up desk. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's you know, people say like escapism, right? And they all I want to play somebody powerful, but you know, I am somebody powerful. So when I want to play RPG and I want to escape, I want to play like somebody that's
Yeah, I want to play Max.
Yeah. I've developed a very hard magic system, but I fear it might be boring. That's always a struggle. Like magic, having it interesting, not too clunky.
There's a little bit of that, but like maybe this is just me being an idiot, but I like the idea of magic being tricky
Yeah,
because then the person who's playing the magic user has to kind of research it a little bit, you know?
yeah.
Or maybe they're not playing the game to research it, but I think you should have to
Think about it.
research a magic system. I don't know why.
Well, you want me
Why
to
am I
talk
punishing players? I don't know.
you want me to talk about the magic a bit, like on a very high level? Uh,
Sure.
like I like magic to be about trade-off and sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing in life is free, so you shouldn't get like just like power that come from nowhere. So there's always like I always wanted to have like a trade-off and sacrifice, and also I wanted to have like some kind of risk reward, right? Because you have to have a reason that not everybody's gonna go all in on magic, right? If you don't want it to, or you're born with it, or you're not, right? Then you have to find out a reason. If anybody could technically potentially gain magic, everybody would if it was like reliable and safe. And at some point, also, if you make magic too reliable and too safe and too predictable, you it just become like a technology, and that become like boring in a sense, right? So magic are still skills, so there still involve roles. So there's always a risk with that. All the form of magic require some form of role, and they also require some form of uh, resource that you have to expend.
Yeah.
I like
Spirits in this case, I
yeah.
imagine.
So for one of them, yeah, Phil mentioned like I had like 6 form of magic. Each one is linked to a pair of attributes. Sometimes the attribute being paired with itself, right? And the attributes, the intellectual attributes, so wisdom, persona, and erudition. And you could have like if you go like with the one that is paired with erudition, which is wizardry, that's like the most reliable form of magic, but it's the one that you have to prepare in advance. So you write down scroll. So you have to get in prepared, and you still have a roll to make, and you can mess up, right? You can transcribe something, and then like potentially disastrous consequence. And it's a bit of a free form too. You get like those word of power and effect and stuff like that that you can mix together to combine your spell, right? And the more you want to add together, the harder it gets, the more likely you make to make a mistake. But then you also are, they're too complex to remember, so you have to have those scroll with you. So if you lose your scroll, well, you shit out of luck, right? Or if you run out of scroll because they're consumed upon reading, like the magic energy like burn the scroll. That's like kind of like my nod at the Vincian kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm. So when would that happen? When are you doing the scrolls?
Well, whenever you want, but it takes time. So
Yeah,
you
but I'm
need to
saying
have
like
some downtime.
in a game, like in a game, what are you doing?
Either you do them obsession, like you prepare them, you know what you want to do, and then when you have like a downtime in the game, like you're gonna have a time skip when you can just say like, well, during we do this thing, right? I'm gonna go in my room for an hour and write down those scroll, right? And then so you
make your rolls.
Exactly, you make your rolls there. But so that's it.
Oh.
There's one form of magic, which like the elven magic, like which I call elementalism, that work with the 5 elemental. So like the word of power and effect like organized differently, and to cast those spell you have to expend spirit point. So that's the one you were referring to. And so there's a risk there as well, because you can actually tire yourself and be not able to do anything. You can become like very melancholic or very tired or whatever, however you want to interpret it. There's a form of magic like the divine magic, which work with a system of spell point that you have to gain those point with by doing stuff that please your god. So that's the one that's linked to virtue, into some skill and some action and some prayer and stuff like that. There's a form of magic that is sorcery. It's also work on spell point, but to gain spell point you have to kill stuff and sacrifice them to dark power.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, to
getting sacrificed to good powers.
Well, like I guess you could if there's a good power. Yeah, why not? Whatever power, like
it worked in the Old Testament.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could, but you have to kill stuff. So like I'm trying not to put it like as explicitly evil.
Okay.
Because you could like sacrifice goat, but you're also gonna get more power if you sacrifice people, right? So there's always like this draw of power, right?
Sure, your friends.
Exactly. Well, if they're a loved one, you can even more. Yeah.
It's like, hey, you have a spell that can get us across this chasm. It's like, I don't know.
Come over here.
Can I borrow your arm?
Yeah. And and there's one where that rely on gris fetishes, right? Like not fetishes in the sense of sexual fetishes, but fetishes in the sense of like like those shamans that like oh, I got a skull of a fox and there's a spirit in there that I can call upon, like, and again, like if you lose those fetishes or if they break and stuff like that, then you're shit out of luck. And there's one that is rely on potion, like it's the witchcraft, so it's potion and wand and stuff like that that you imbue power in object that you consume, and you can like, and this one, if you want to do a witcher, that's the way to go. You get some skill in there, because then you can have like those fuel that you can throw and break, and then like they're basically like grenade, like toxic grenade, or you can drink stuff to gain like different, like boost your skill, or and you can have like some other like little effect locked in one, but then they get expended, right? Or in other object. like a mirror or a flying broom. If you want to do that, then you can fly, but like it's not like permanent object.
If I want a flying carpet, is it the
you could,
same
yeah,
as a flying broom?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's the same as a flying broom. It's more convenient in some way, but less in other, because you have to carry around a carpet. Because, like I said, they're not permanent.
Broom. I mean, what the?
What? Yeah. I took it out of the room. So those, I think I went to the 6,
You can
right?
sweep a room with a broom, though.
Yeah.
Something to think about. I think you said all 6.
Yeah. So they all have like their own kind of gimmick.
Yeah. I like how they're all a little different. And if you're going to be doing a magic, it's like you kind of have to learn about it.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Yeah. And like I said, they all link, like, like they all link to a different pair of attributes as well. So like every character, well, they all like the intellectual attribute. So every character, like a different type of character, can use magic in different way.
So it seems like I'm going to put on my power gamer hat now. So like the magic that is the same stat twice is going to be easier to master because you only have to have one high stat. Right?
Wrong.
Okay. I think you're wrong, Max.
No, think about it. If you have like if you want to, let's say you have like, let's say you have a magic that use like personal and wisdom, right? And they're both at 2, it gives you 4.
Okay.
Then you raise one of them to 3, so then it gives you 5, right? Then you can raise the other one to 3, it gives you 6.
Sure.
If you have like a magic that only rely on persona, that is at 2, then you can raise it to 4. It give you 4.
What?
But then you have to raise it like you can raise it
it's
to 3.
persona, and you have 2.
Sorry, yeah,
you
raise it
4.
to 3, it gives you 6. But then to raise it, like it costs more to raise it once more. And
but you're already at 6, and you only had to raise it one time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So it is a benefit, but it also means that, like, you also want to raise other attribute as well, right? Just
sure, and you can, because you don't have to raise 2 of them for that magic.
Well, if you want to do that, but then you focus more on the one attribute.
I'm saying if you do the different attributes, you should get some sort of benefit for that. If you wanted to, I know you don't care about balance or even.
No, I don't really care about balance, and also like attributes get they get raised by using them, and they have their own skill linked to them. So like that's the thing as well, right? If you want to raise only one attribute, well, your other skill are gonna suffer. Yeah. And like I said, like they get raised by using them in a sense. So
you only have to use one.
Yeah, you can do that. But then you need more. If you want to be a more magic character, right?
Well, if you want to be more of a Gish, then you want to pick a magic style that only has one attribute.
Yeah,
and then you can go focus on your physicals.
And also, like, if you want to be like, if you use the magic style that is only like based on persona, but because they also come with all their gimmicks, right? You also have to consider that in the balance.
Which ones are the double?
Wizardry is double for erudition. I think I made sorcery, the one that you have to sacrifice life, as a double for persona. And the double for wisdom is witchcraft. Yeah, so the one with the potion and the magic object and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. So if you want like personal, like, like, yeah, it's cool because you can use those spells, but then yeah, you have to kill stuff and sacrifice them, right? So that's a big drawback as well.
Oh well. Oh well.
It is what it is.
Gotta do what you gotta do, guys. Find me a dog.
Well, Max, your game doesn't need to be good at the being generic. You have D&D for that. You can be good at the type of game your game will ultimately make. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not trying to be generic in that sense. I'm just like the setting I'm talking about because I'm not really a setting guy, and I want. And I think it's easier to take stuff away than to add them, right? If I add like the monster race and you don't want them in your game, you just say they're not there, right?
sure.
But if they're not there and you want to have some, then it's a little more work to add them. So that's why that in that sense that I'm saying, I want to give you like options.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Because
like it.
I'm not a setting guy really. Crunchmaster, the new RPG from Fuck Off Casual Game. I like casual game as well. I want to see a RPG based on random objectivist ethic. What would that be? Like your stat is like greed and
Yeah.
industriousness.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Industrious and lazy.
yeah, and selfish.
Yeah.
Do you have a video on it? I love checking out Magic System. Oh yeah,
It'd be like greed and foolish was the
virtuous or
H.
virtue signaling. No, I don't think that come up as virtue signaling. I could make like a virtue signaling version, like a bigoted or
Mhm.
progressive ally. Yeah, centers on dull. Yeah, but like the dull people, sometimes they're the one that are more balanced, right? And
See,
then
that's what I'm talking about. Like in the honesty one, I feel like I can be cunning and frank.
yeah, well then
I
there's
don't
nothing
really
wrong
see
with that.
those as opposing, but I guess they are.
They are if you go in the extreme, right? In the extreme, right? I
Yeah.
cannot lie. I can't fucking lie, right? It's just like there's something that broken with me. It's autism.
But you can
I
be
can't.
measured, right? You're not really measured with your words
No,
at all.
no, not really.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and the number of time that got me in trouble, I can't fucking count, right? Just like
Yeah.
it's part of the reason why it's so hard for me to keep a job because I just like say everything, like every fucking deranged thought that come to my mind, and
Yeah.
like when something doesn't please me, I just like say, "Wow, that doesn't work."
Well, it's one of
I'm
my
not.
favorite aspects of your virtues, sir.
Well, some people are gonna like it, but like
Yeah.
most people, like just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I said, I don't know, man. I wish I could. You should make one presenting the general idea. I've done it. Oh, you're talking to Martin Webb, yeah. It ended up being a freaking laser beam. I don't know what he's talking about.
He's talking about his magic system.
What? Watch the magic video later.
Hmm?
Okay, they're talking among themselves.
How dare they?
Shauner agreed that a NRAN RPG would sound interesting. Yeah, you play like the Fountainhead, the RPG.
Yeah, Fountainhead. That's what it was.
Yeah, yeah. BioShock was anti-RAN. Yeah, that's true. Well, I don't. I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna have a little bit of retinue here about the guy that made BioShock. What is his name? Like Levine?
Something like that, I'm sure.
Yeah. People equate virtue with altruism. Ren challenged that. Yeah, I'm not a Rendian guy, but that's a whole different fucking kind of worm. I dislike hybrid as well, but I do like the concept of mules where hybrid may happen, but they're infertile. Oh, that's actually the hobgoblins. That's what they are. They are a cross between a goblin and an orc, and they are infertile.
Hmm.
Uh, and it's kind of frowned upon in the orcish society. But then, like the goblins are pretty clever in that game, in that setting. They're
Especially
there,
desert goblins.
especially desert goblin.
Yeah.
So the hobgoblin kind of get you like not quite as strong as an orc, not quite as smart as a goblin. So they kind of have like
Hmm.
a use and a niche, but they're sterile. And the orc kind of see it like kind of wrong, like morally wrong to shag your goblin slave. So the whole thing is kind of frowned upon, but sometimes they
Yeah.
happen, uh, and it's a tough existence for them. So they become like either resilient or they die.
Get over it.
Yeah.
Oh,
We should have
gods.
probably have posted the link again in the chat if somebody else wants to play, because I think we're gonna move. We might move up to a different topic if you up for it, or if you did. Well, we'll see. There's a different question. Virtue work, however, a setting says it does. Yeah, but I'm making a case here too. Yeah, carousing is like, yeah, that would be like get you a point in the Epicurean. This double as a moral mechanic. I'm a very moralist guy.
Morale.
Morale.
Yeah.
What did I
Saying
say?
spirit is like morale.
Morale.
Morale is different than moral.
Oh, okay. It's
Morale is like spirit.
yeah.
Moral is like good and bad.
Moral.
Good.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. But you're not moralistic, right?
No, not really. Yeah.
Because it's not a thing.
An Oxford University study show that men should have a night out with the boys twice a week for optimal mental health.
Okay.
I could see that. Twice a week seems a bit much.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. That's my night out.
Are we having a night out right now?
Oh, like, you should take out the bourbon then?
I don't have any.
You don't have any? What the fuck are you doing?
I don't. We talked about that.
I thought you had. Oh.
No, I keep like, I think I should get bourbon, but then I don't because it costs money.
Yeah.
I can't justify purchasing it.
I think this cup is not very clean, but I guess the alcohol is going to clean it.
Yeah. Did you blow in it one time? There you go. It's not like you spit in it.
Yeah, night out. That's what I do. But also, like, when my partner come over, we always like drink some wine as well. So there's that. But wine doesn't really count. I'm French, so
yeah.
Also, my name literally means drink wine.
Really?
Boivin. Yeah, Boivin. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
it's better than pumpkin.
I don't know. Pumpkin is cool. I like pumpkins.
Is pumpkin good?
Yeah, pumpkin is good. Is the thing interesting because that is what the Chargen is made for. What is a Chargen?
Character generation.
Oh, Cargen. Oh, it's made for. Now my setting is not good. It's just functional.
It doesn't exist. Yeah.
Well, it kind of exists, but it's implied, right? I don't want to give it to you. Like I'm gonna probably do like the Dark Soul approach to exposing my setting. There's gonna be int here and there. You have to put it in together yourself.
There's gonna be a wiki.
Well, not made by me. People can try to figure out what's happening. What the fuck's happening?
What the fuck?
All gonna be like cryptic.
The GM's like, I don't know. I'm just gonna make it up. You're like, okay.
Yeah. But that's the thing too. Like, I just want to give like seed, like little thing that you can hang out to, and then like you have to fucking fill in the blank, preferably during play on the fly.
Yeah. Regardless of what a book actually gives me, that's what I do. Like, I'm like, I look for the seed, like with World of Darkness.
Yeah, exactly.
I take the stereotypes and then make something.
Yeah, the setting like there should be like starting point.
Yeah.
When the game start, you're gonna stray away from the book in some way or the other, right? The book is there to serve your game. The game is not there to serve like the book. Exactly, right? You're not beholden to it. The game is more important. Yeah. In this session, your character will be in a group therapy with Dr. Zool, the Destroyer. And then you regain some spirit, and maybe you can shift some of your virtue. Oh, maybe that could be interesting. A mechanic to be able to shift virtue outside of like the regular through therapy. Roll your you roll your CBT test.
Yeah. I need you to get out of here because 2:00 is orc hour.
Different kind of
the humans here.
Yeah, PP joke in the bingo. Yeah, do I have like a bingo sheet? Oh, split personality character will need 2 virtue sheet.
That's interesting.
That's interesting.
I kind of like the idea of them not having it. It's
Not
like
having
that's
virtue
kind of
at
how
all.
you put both sides, you know.
Yeah. Or they shift it at random.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Do you have less wisdom if you have multiple personalities?
Split personality is not something I tackled in my game design so
You don't have
far.
any
I don't know if I
insanity
will.
stuff?
Very little.
You should make a giant system for insanity.
It's well, I could. It's not really the focus of the game. Like you like the
Everyone's depressed. There's no other
exactly,
insanity. Like,
exactly.
relax.
Well, there's some, but like there's some stuff like that you can have some trait like if
Yeah.
you're in the wilderness,
Yeah.
like if you're in the wilderness, every time you lose spirit, you lose twice as much,
Yeah.
right?
That's good.
Because you're agoraphobic, shit like that. So everything that stresses you or tire you, like it affects you much more, right?
Okay.
And the same like if you're in a city, right? And because like you're like it's too many people, right? I got like some mechanic. I tried to work with
It
spirit in that
happens to me
sense.
in cities.
What? Yeah.
It happens to me in cities.
Well, cities
It's
like
like,
are
why does
annoying.
everything smell like piss?
Yeah, because you're in city, man.
Yeah.
Fucking hate cities. Yeah.
Me too.
Village is where it's at.
I'm potentially moving to a slightly larger city.
Already.
It upsets me.
I shouldn't do it then.
Okay. Good thinking.
Yeah, life is that simple, man. Where's the Aztec
I
lizard?
think that
They're in
that's a good question.
warmer griffins. Catholic barbecue. Yeah, with the
Super Catholic barbecue. Yeah.
super Catholic barbecue. Yeah. Paras Sangvi. I don't think I saw your name before. Make a game of the First Crusade. You can find the spear that pierced Christ, yeah, the spear of Longinus, and led the crusade to victory at Antioch. Yeah. Is the First Crusade the spear?
That
Wait.
does sound rad.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. I like fucking Renaissance.
How cool
That's
would it
my
be to run like a crusade role-playing game where we're crusaders? Does that interest you?
you know like how those story that Templar they
Yeah.
when they came to Jerusalem, they insisted on getting like the Temple Mount, right? That's how they got like the name the Templar, right? And apparently like they spent like time and time, like they spent a lot of fucking energy digging in the Temple Mount, like they were looking for something.
Yeah.
And at some point they stopped,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody know what they were digging for, why they stopped or anything. But like what if you like play those Templar that are actually looking for artifact and magic stuff and shit like that, right?
I'm down.
That'd be cool.
So what are they looking for? Is it going to be like the Grail? Is it going
Well,
to be like
that's
the Ark of the
obviously that's what some
Covenant?
people say. That's the Grail.
Yeah.
The Ark of the Covenant is and like they brought it in Nova Scotia. There's all like kind of
That's where
theory
I'd
like
take
that.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Straight to
like
Nova Scotia.
the Templar were mostly Norman,
Yeah.
like myself.
You see that picture of I think it was Mar-a-Lago, where like
Yeah.
Trump had the Ark of the Covenant.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just hanging out in his lobby or something.
I didn't see that. Yeah, but
It was a
yeah,
weird picture.
yeah. Like I have like a Dark Age Cthulhu here.
Dark Age Cthulhu.
Yeah, which is a Call of Cthulhu game, but in the Dark Age.
I put it together. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds good.
Yeah, but one thing like that fucking infuriated me is like the order is the order, like you read the book and you kind of get a like anti-Christian kind of vibe, right? The order doesn't seem to be a fan of Christianity when you read, and he even use like
So Christianity is just a veil, is like a
yeah, and he even use
actually
like
Cthulhu shit.
well, if you do a game in the Dark Age, that should be like a very big fucking factor of the game,
Yeah.
right? And of the character and stuff like that. And he even used like the term like C for a
See.
current era. for the years, right? Instead
Oh,
of AD.
yeah.
And that fucking annoys me. That like pisses me
Yeah.
off literally. Like it's just like
I don't think they called it CE then.
they didn't
I don't
call
know
it
what they
C then, but the other like when you refer to a date, you say like, oh, in 830 and 812 CE. I say like, motherfucker, it's 80. Stop fucking trying to. It doesn't fucking current era, right? Like, oh,
What's this guy's name? I'm sorry.
I forgot. But like
Let's get
when I
let's
know,
get our letter writing group
yeah, when I fucking get a book like that use those term, like I want to fucking punch the other in the cock, right, or something like. It's like it pissed me off so much.
yeah.
So know that if you ever write a book and you use for
Don't
days
say
like
CE or Max
BCE
will
and
punch you in the
CE,
cock.
and I bet you you can get punched in the cock. Yeah, that's the thing that
Yeah.
research
Okay.
cooking, research alchemy. Yeah, you can do all those. Well, it's not really research, but you can
I'm
like
busy. I can't be researching all this stuff. What are you talking about?
you
Research
can like
accounting.
there's like skill for crafting if you know the weapon and stuff like that, and have like mechanic for like those kind of downtime activity because like that's something I like to do a lot. And when I do a campaign, like sometimes like well now there's gonna
Oh,
be
it's a
like
downtime. Yeah.
yeah like there's gonna be like 3 months where not much happened, right? And we're gonna retake play in the next session. It's gonna be like 3 months later, right?
Yeah.
And then but you can tell me what you did during this time, and then we can make some roll and stuff like that and see how well you did. So research, and if you want to craft shit, right? I want to build a cart. Right, okay, then
Have you
can do
played a game that happened where
what?
you had a bunch of downtime and you were able to?
Yeah, I love those games in campaign. I do
I
that a
guess
lot when I run a
Pendragon
campaign.
literally.
In Pendragon, that's like
Yeah.
you do like one adventure a year, and
Yeah.
then you do the winter phase, which is all downtime, and you have like all those kind. But like I love that, but I love game where like healing your wound take time and stuff like that. So you
Yeah.
do need to have downtime, and I like to keep like track of when stuff is gonna happen.
Hmm.
So no, if there's an army approaching, or if there's like somebody trying to build something, or trying, it's important in what's happening, right? Then well, sometimes like you have to make a choice. Do we want to take some time off and rest and heal, or do we want to go address that issue when we're not fully healed, when we still have wounds, stuff like that? Like choice are important. You have to make choice that matter, that have some kind of like a pros and cons, risk reward, and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
So, because the world doesn't stop if you take a break. If you take a break to go to the bar and regain some spirit, right? It's still stuff happening. But
Right.
now it might be worth it. It might be worthwhile. Like it might be like the good thing. Sometimes you do need a break and need a rest. Yeah.
I've never played a game where I was able to do that.
No. A lot of people like a lot of like, and that's a mistake I think a lot of GM do. But and also like modern game don't encourage that, because like, oh, you just sleep and you gain all your hit point, right? Whatever. Just like, well, no, that's not how healing works.
I
And
meant
then
more
you
like there's like 3 months of downtime.
yeah.
Like, what are you guys doing? It's always like an imminent threat.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that kind of diminish it. Like because
Yeah.
like you're always on the go, you always like, but that's not how life
It's
work,
less
right?
epic.
It's less epic. And even sometimes like, oh, we're gonna go over there on a ship, it's gonna take fucking 3 weeks, right? It's like,
Right.
you know. And then but maybe we can find other way to get there faster through magic or some shit like that. Oh, it's gonna cost a lot. Oh, can we spend the time? Can we spend the money, right? There's
Mhm.
this old dilemma there, right? Dilemma is interesting in a game. And also like you look at modern D&D and stuff like that, people are gonna go like from probably like from level 3 or 5 to level 15. Their character like became like from like like good character to like fucking god, basically.
Mhm.
But then you look and it's like, oh, 3 months of game time or 1 month of game time have gone by. It
Right.
was always like go go go, imminent threat, imminent threat, like, no, sometime like the world should go back to some semblance of normality.
Yeah.
Sometime there should be some time like, well, okay, there's this threat coming on, but it's a little farther away. Now we have time to do something else, or to
Yeah.
just like lick our wound and stuff like that. Like I
You
love
just
that.
spent you just spent 3 days in a swamp. You'll
Yeah,
probably want to take a day.
You probably want to take a week, right? Just
Yeah.
like, you know what? Especially if you made money, like, you know what? Maybe I'm just gonna fucking spend that cash and just like fucking rest.
Yeah.
Mm. And that's
Set
that's
up
good too. And also it allows you to live more of your character life, right? Maybe you can
right.
age, maybe you can, yeah,
Have a baby.
yeah, get married
Yeah.
if you're not like me. But St. James say, my magic system is a floor and ceiling on your roll determines strength, so the PC can accidentally or intentionally fuck up and lose control of the spell. Similar though, based solution. Yeah, like I say, magic should be like a. This always should be like a fucking threat.
Dangerous.
Sean and I talk about all the things you can research.
Searched a lot of things.
Magic language, yeah. Magic is setting. Magic informs the setting a lot, and that's something I think I talk a lot about. Like your rules and your mechanics should inform your setting. I don't like fluff. Okay, fluff is can be fine, right? But the rules and the mechanics you put in the game should tell me about the setting at least as much as the fluff.
Sure.
Yeah,
What do you think your mechanics say about your setting?
it's a harsh world. It's
Yeah.
depressing. It's like yeah, life is hard,
Yeah.
and it's kind of cheap because you can die.
People really like live music.
People really really like live music and eating, feasting,
Yeah.
dancing. That's also a
Yeah.
thing you can do, right?
It's a lot of
Uh,
hard partying going on.
yeah, friendship is important. Like I can't stop
That
sharing
sounds
now.
like a nice place. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the
Go
wall
back
is
to sharing.
the
Jeez.
harsher the wall, the more human warmth you need, right?
Hmm.
That's what I'm saying. The world is harsh, so you'll need like human warmth. I'm such a loving guy.
Yeah. It's such a rainbows and happy setting.
Yeah, well, it's about contrast. That's
Yeah.
the thing, right? It's about you're gonna die easy, and you're gonna get hurt a lot, and you're gonna suffer from those injury.
I also
And
feel like you have a lot of combat maneuvers, so it makes me think that there's a lot of fighting styles and like
the combat
um,
maneuver are mainly made for the kind of cinematic feel,
sure, but there's
right?
a lot of them.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of them. You don't need to know all of them, obviously. There's some basic one that are kind of core.
You don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do
But I'm
anything.
saying informing your setting as far as your settings concerned, because there's a lot of combat maneuvers, it makes me think there's potentially a lot of combat styles. Like
I
maybe
don't know if I would call them
in culture.
style. I don't know if I would call them style because they're pretty generic maneuver, right? It's just like, oh, you want to fight defensively. Well, there's a thing. There's a mechanic for that if you wanted to use it,
Mhm.
right? You wanna do a shield wall. There's a mechanic for that if you want to use it. You want to try to disarm somebody. There's a mechanic for that, right? They're not really style. There's people sometimes that
One
everybody
second.
can. Yeah, I'll keep talking with the chat. Du-du-du-du. Dragon Shadow say, well, in defense of GURPS, I think you're supposed to pick one, but yeah, oh yeah, with all the magic system, yeah, for magic system in GURPS, yeah. Well, GURPS is all about option, right? You're supposed to. It's kind of like make your own. It's like IKEA RPG. If IKEA would send you like part from a bunch of furniture, and then you not enough to build them all, but like you can build a few options, right? Just like I don't know. That's a weird analogy. Yeah. More magic carpet triple as blanket and flying backpack. Yeah, but because also they're not permanent item, like the more you fly with it, at some point, like there's kind of like charges, right? So it can like you don't want to be just fall in the middle of the sky. Yeah, ponchos. Ponchos are base. I'll get one for the coming winter. Ponchos used to be big here in the 90s when I was a kid in school. People all had ponchos. I wanted one. My mother didn't want to. She said they were trashy. Yeah. CE. Oh, okay. Current era is a pointless change in current era academic. Well, it's not pointless. There's a point to it. they want to take away God as much as they can. But even like current era, right? It's like, oh, what defined it? What distinguished the current era from the before current era, right? Oh, it's like it's not like they changed the year zero, right? It's still based on Christ. They just don't want to say like, oh, I know Dominium, right? The year of the Lord. Yeah. Is there going to be firearm in your game? Yes, there are. There are musket and actually musket and blunderbuss and stuff like that, like primitive firearm, somewhat, and they are made by the goblins of the firearm guy. They're the one that coming up with that came up with the concept because they're a clever guy, right, and kind of dangerous. And it's a big change in the world right now. Oh, Angar.
Drive by.
Hey, man.
Hello, my brother.
How you doing, mate?
I'm all right. Can't
You all
complain.
right? Yeah, that's good. Been a while.
Oh well, yeah. You don't love me no more.
I never not allowed you.
No, I said you don't love me anymore.
Oh. No, Ben, I love you. I just like I've just made myself a bit scarce lately. I got a lot going on.
Yeah, I've been very scarce, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm reducing my online presence. I'm trying to focus on the writing and also like trying to get my thing together, my shit together.
I've been working on that damn comic book. It's driving me
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I'm talking to Victor Gorbachev, about doing a game, writing a game with him. I got a good idea for a game, but I'm not creative.
Yeah.
Vic is a good game writer. So
what do you want your game to be about?
World War II.
Oh, really?
With a twist.
Be careful, eh? That's a sensitive topic on this channel.
Well, no, Germany.
The good guy won.
Germany and Japan is actually on the Allies side.
So they're all against Italy?
China and Russia.
Oh, the Axis?
Are the Axis side.
Oh, so it's like if the West, instead of going against Nazism or fascism, they went against communism, basically.
Yes.
Oh. Well, I like that.
There's zombies. There's zombies.
Yeah. Well, you see them everywhere nowadays. Yeah. And what the comic book? What is it about? It's about like Ungar the Starvarian.
Hungar the Starvarian in the quest for the cheeseburger of density.
Of density, nice.
Yeah, I'm fighting. I've got to rescue the cheeseburger from the evil vegan lady who has carnivorous plants.
Oh, I see. That's interesting. Carnivorous plant for the vegan lady.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. Yeah.
Nice. It's ridiculous. It's supposed to be. It's Hungar, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I just made some burger today. They were fucking amazing.
I had ramen with bratwurst.
I like bratwurst. Rust. Yeah. Yeah, well, I made like a fucking like big fucking like burger with like a 8-ounce patty.
Nice.
And a big chunk of fucking extra old cheddar and red onion. Like caramelized red onion, all cooked in wine.
I like an over medium egg or sunny side up egg on my burger.
Oh yeah, I'm not a fan of that. No.
Yeah. And bacon and cheese.
No, I like to keep it simple, and I like put like some Dijon mustard, ketchup, and that's good. Yeah, it was fucking excellent. I wish I could be eating it again.
It sounds good. I wish I could be eating it. I had curry ramen.
Yeah. You put the veg. Oh no, you can't eat vegetable, eh?
I put a little vegetables in it. I've decided to fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the other day, I made a hamburger steak with gravy and homemade mushroom gravy, and I fried up, sautéed some zucchini and squash with garlic because I like vegetables, and if they kill me, I'm dying anyway, so I really don't give a damn.
Well, at some point,
Yeah.
At some point you gotta live, right? What's the point of like fearing death that to a point that you don't live, right?
Exactly. And like last night, man, it was miserable. I had freaking leg cramps.
Oh yeah.
All night. So bad in my calves that I had a hard time walking today. It was worse than leg day, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, that was me yesterday too. Like with leg day, like I have like a stairs. I'm on 2 floor here, and that was fucking painful.
But look at that. Ooh, you see that tone?
What does it say?
You see that tone?
Showing the tricep. Oh yeah, man. Getting some tone there. Getting ready for the summer.
Fight the summer. I got a bag on my stomach, but you know what? That doesn't mean I still can't look good.
Yeah. You can still wear like tank top. Show the guns a bit. Sun's out.
Lightweight, high reps, dude. Way to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's true. If you wanna build like if you want to grow the muscle, that's the right way to do it. If you want to make muscle stronger, it's gonna be a high weight, low rep. Ideally, you want to do both. High rep build more muscle mass, more muscle fiber, and high weight make the muscle fiber stronger.
What I'm doing right now is I'm just getting my body back into being used to working out.
Yeah.
So I'm training my body, doing sit-ups, push-ups, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Doing a lot more walking. Doing the light rep or lightweight, high rep. And then once I get my body, a bit more used to the working out, then I'm going to kick it up a little bit at a time.
Yeah. I've been a bit lax with my training lately.
Well, you don't really. Yeah, I mean, you're rich. What else you got to do?
Writing. I'm trying to fucking design a game. Yeah. And
work out, dude. Like Bear. I talked to Bear yesterday. We had his Palladium game.
I'm not rich, by the way. I'm not super wealthy. I'm just.
I'm not saying that you're super wealthy, but you're very comfortable.
I got what I need to live.
Yeah. But I was playing Bear's game yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Are you going to be on the stream Monday?" And he's like, "I'm doing nothing this week but writing."
Bear?
Yeah. His heroic game is going hog wild.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. His Kickstarter is doing well, eh? Victor too. Both of them. I'm glad to see that.
The guys are doing good. When you put your shit out, if you put it on Kickstarter, I'm gonna back it.
I'll probably like make some crowdfunding from hardcover book. I'm probably gonna keep our DSRD free. I want people to play the game first and foremost, right?
But if you do,
it's hard for me. I'm not very like money motivated, obviously.
Well, when you have all those bitcoins, you don't need to be.
But yeah, but if I want, like, I don't also want to buy like a print run out of pocket necessarily, and I want to see if there's interest for it. So I think like the crowdfunding is good for that. But I'm probably gonna do that. I got my guy, my lieutenant, like working on the layout and stuff like that. He's doing a bang up job so far. Now we're looking to do maybe a little shorter format, like 7x10. So we're investigating that now.
Yeah, when I get my comic up to snuff, I'm going to do a crowdfunding on it. Shadow's already like, dude, if you need backing, let me know.
Yeah.
But I want to do a crowdfunding because, it seems that I am a little bit popular on YouTube for some reason.
Yeah. Well, you're a very likable guy, right?
And if people want to, have a comic book about me, I mean, shit. I know a lot of people downloaded that miniature of mine that a Nerd made, which is great. My brother downloaded 3 of them, a short one for a dwarf, a normal human size, and a big one for a giant.
Yeah.
And it's like, so, and shit.
Yeah, I feel like Murdo was painting one the other day. Nice.
Yeah, my t-shirts are doing decent. I gave a t-shirt away on Bear's live stream when his Kickstarter kicked off.
Which shirt did the guy pick?
He went with the the Lost Boys T-shirt.
Oh, Lost Boy inspired T-shirt. Oh.
Yeah, but my brother and Bruce Lombardo, they wear my Dune Pepe the Frog Navigator T-shirt all the
I
time.
love that one. Yeah.
And then the other day on Diversity and Dragons, he was wearing my Hungar Snake T-shirt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Hungar killing the snake.
Yeah.
He was wearing that on his stream. I was like, dude, this is pretty freaking cool. And hell, you saw Marcus Aurelius. He's like, Hungar, the best YouTuber.
Yeah. Well, you got like a having a comic would be fun, man. Just like in something you like, you live there in the world.
But I just want to stop and say hey to you, brother.
Well, I'm glad you did. Thank you for dropping by, man.
Did
you play with your brother today?
Yes, we just finished the game at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, you're joining them online now.
Yeah, we me, his sister-in-law, and her boyfriend, we play over Facebook Messenger video chat.
Oh, really?
And then the other 5 people are at the table. So it works
it's
out.
A hybrid game. Works. Yeah. Well, if it works, right?
Yeah, I mean, I told my brother, I was like, if it's a pain
big group,
for you, huh?
It's a big group.
Yeah, 7, 8.
Yeah, 8 with For warm-up, it's pretty big.
Yeah, I told my brother, I was like, listen, if it's too much for you, I can drop out of the game. He's like, I'd kick anybody else out of the game except for my wife and you. Yeah. It's like sometimes his nephew and nieces to come over, and when they're in town on a Sunday, they have characters that they play too.
Yeah.
So it's like, we have a lot of fun. I mean, it's a lot of role playing.
And it's always good to do something with like friends and family as well, right? Just like
I mean, we didn't have any combat at all this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was still a fun game.
Yeah, I'm all right with that. Like combat don't need to happen all the time, especially in Warhammer Fantasy, right? You're like, if you can find a way out of combat.
Yeah. My character in Bear's game, has no magic and no combat skills.
Yeah, you're playing a monk.
Yeah,
like an actual monk, right?
Like an actual Western monk. So it's like the other day there was combat in Bear's game, and I ran.
Yeah.
I failed my terror check, and I've role played my character. I ran.
Yeah.
But I bring a bit of chaos and wildness to. I was like, I snagged Max Lau's. He had sweet cakes, and I stole one of those. During combat.
Yeah.
It's like I try to have fun. It's like it's not always about combat and stuff in a game, and a lot of people, they don't realize that. I mean, eventually you will step up your game and come up to 142,603D role playing like me.
Yeah. Well, you know what? One step at a time, right?
Yeah, it's going to take you a little while.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me keep going to the chat there. Mercurius Olicus. It's been a while since I've seen you too, no? There's a really politically correct RPG about a Templar in the Osprey RPG. Osprey is French, right? It's a French game, no? I think. Osprey RPG series.
Well, if it is French, it's ironical since they're the ones who killed the Templars.
Well, there were the Templars. The Templars were mostly Norman.
Yeah. And the French crown killed them.
Yeah, because they were indebted to them. Yeah.
They owed them too much money.
Yeah.
Like, we don't got to pay them if we kill their asses.
But then the king died within a year after that because he got cursed.
Well, yeah. Fuck with a bunch of holy knights and see what happens to you. God does smite things.
Yeah. Richard de Molay. Yeah, that was the name. No, is it Richard? Jacques de Molay. Yeah. Yeah, and it was on a Friday the 13th too.
That's crazy. And the monks swam across and carried ashes back in their mouths. I mean, I know a little bit about the Knights Templar.
Yep. Yeah. Do you believe they went to Nova Scotia?
Probably.
That's what I was telling, because they were like mostly Norman, and Norman are descendant of the Viking, right?
Yeah.
And the Viking went to Nova Scotia, so maybe the Templar didn't know about this.
The Templar went pretty much everywhere, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, I don't believe that bullshit where they say that the Templars became the Freemasons.
Oh no, those are different things.
I don't believe that bullshit.
Yeah, no, those are different things. The Freemasons are their own fucking issue, their own fucking problem.
Yeah. I don't buy into that whole Freemason bullshit.
Heirs to Heresy. I almost bought that fucking game by Alan Barr. And now you say it's very PC, very politically correct. I'm glad I didn't buy it then. Why didn't I buy it? I remember there was something that was bothering me about it. I was on Drive-Thru RPG. I saw that. I say, oh, I should buy that. And then I look into it, and something like turned me off, and I moved away. I forgot. Maybe I did saw some kind of like, maybe I went to see like Alan Barr's Twitter, and I saw that he was like a fucking shithead. And
freaking T-shirted historian. He shows this video on his show sometimes, and it's talking about all the different new fantasy TV shows.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, come to Numenor, a secular island out in the middle of nowhere with the racial group of whites, blacks, Hispanics, and
the same proportion of downtown LA. Yeah.
Like you find in modern day LA, and I'm like, that's the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it fucking annoys me. Yeah. We should have a right to our history as well, right?
Yeah. They're getting rid of all redheads. You've seen that. They're making all redheads black.
Yeah, I know that. Well, I always have a joke like that there's probably like a casting agent in Hollywood that is a dyslexic. When you read a ginger, you get confused.
That is... That is great. I'm out of here, bro. Love you like a fat kid loves cake, man.
Take care, man.
You guys be good. Have fun in the chat, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you for dropping by, Anagar. Paras Sangvi say I'm cursing myself for selling Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 2 2nd edition. 4E is war garbage. Yeah, the rules for 4E are alright. But yeah, the art, man, the art is fucking annoying. This fucking fat smuggler bitch, right? Just like, wait, can I? Oh yeah, I can say that, I guess. Whatever. Yeah. It's like, for me, it's on the verge, right? It's not like it's very diverse and body of all proportion represented, like in place like they maybe shouldn't be, right? The Warhammer Fantasy 4E has only one redeeming quality: formatting. Yeah, it's decent formatting. Too much also purity scroll everywhere. They went fucking overboard with that. Dragon Shadow say GURPS is more of a set of system than a game itself. Yeah, which is both its greatest strength and weakness. I never played GURPS, to be honest. Anti-Christian, exactly. That was for the C Ungar. A Longar. Everybody say I to Ungar. Simple is good. Yeah, for burger. Yeah, simple is good. You want to fucking taste, when there's too much, if you put everything in everything, then everything tastes the same, right? Nicolas Camargo ask, during your stay in Brazil, do you eat the burger we make over here? I ate some burger in some like regular restaurant, right? That were pretty good, but the meat in Brazil is fucking amazing. I gotta say that. Like, you have like when I go to the state, I find their meat pretty bad, to be honest. Like, the meat in Canada is much better than the meat in the state, but the meat in Canada is fucking shit compared to the meat you can get in Brazil. I got to say that. Like, your beef is fucking excellent. I also had like burger in Sao Paulo, the McDonald's there, when they have like burger with cheese whiz on it. It's fucking weird. Not a big fan. Whatever. The padrão. I don't know what that. I don't know if I had that one specifically. Padrão. Oh, padrão. Good luck on your game. Thank you for the stream. Regard, Paras. Well, thank you for dropping by, man. Have a good night.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
You missed Ungar's visit.
Oh,
Just came to talk some shit.
good.
Who wants to go first? Go first. What? I made a nice beef stroganoff with onion and pepper, served over macaroni pasta. You lost me at the macaroni pasta. To be honest, I'm not a big pasta guy. Too much carbs, but beef stroganoff is great. Hey, hello, Flame Zombie. Hey, man, why don't you join us?
Flame zombie.
I don't know. Like I think I was about to wrap the stream. Unless if you want to join in and we want to talk. Unless you want to talk about like this other like reserve topic that we had, but I don't know. Maybe we can keep it for some other week. I just got here, fiance, and I were out all day. That's good. Spending time with your lady. Sao Paulo cuisine barely qualify as human. Yeah, I didn't spend a. What part of Brazil you are, Nicolas? If you don't mind me asking in the live stream, I mostly spend time in Rio, State, right? I was staying in Panama, and then I spent some time in Buzios because I'm a posh motherfucker. But yeah,
It seems like a good spot to go to. Brazil.
oh man, you're in the south. Oh man, like I want to go. What next time I go to Brazil? I want to go see probably like Camargo in Cacho del Sol, Santa Catarina. Where is that? Is that more south even like Porto Alegre and stuff like that? I want to see that part of Brazil. I didn't see. That's around where I was looking to buy some land at some point back in like 4 years ago. And now that the plans can coming back, I'm tempted about that again. Buying some vineyard in Brazil. You know, I think in the long run you would get cheaper because I drink so much wine. Yeah. Oh, Flame Zombie was saying like, all right, shite. You'll have to eat some barbecue here in the south. It's night and day depending on where you are. Yeah. I don't know about
I
that.
forget where Flame Zombie's from. Is he Texan?
No.
I know he's like he's Texas adjacent.
It's like Oklahoma, right?
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. You're Texan. What do you think of the meat there?
The mead.
Meat.
The meat. It's good.
But you always like fucking American. You always like fucking like slather your fucking meat with sweet sauce. It's fucking gross. Not everything has to be candy, guys. Not every fucking.
I guess. I mean, it's a style. Don't you guys put like gravy on French fries or something?
Yeah, we do, but it's not sweet.
Okay, I mean that's weird.
It's umami. Yeah, you know, like we have like different, different flavor, like bitter.
They don't have sweets in Canada.
I don't have a sweet tooth at all, so I'm not like I hate sweet meat. Yeah, I like bitter. That's why like I eat like dark chocolate, like 90% stuff like that. Yeah. That's about as sweet as I can go.
It's not even a little bit.
No,
it's like a chore to eat that.
I love it.
Yeah,
but I don't know why. I just I never, and like even when I was a kid, like I never cared for like ice cream.
I like black coffee.
Yeah, I don't drink coffee. Yeah. You see, like Porto Alegre, southeast. Yeah, Santa Catarina is the state above it. Oh, I thought it was the state below it. Yeah, state above it. Yeah, most south. Yeah. That's I want to fucking go back there, but making plan, right? And life. Fuck's sake, man. I'm losing spirit point just thinking about it. You gotta drink yerba mate. I don't like chimarrão. I don't like yerba mate. But I drink hemp tea, which I like. It tastes like spinach. It's very bitter. I love it. I would go to the gym drinking that, right?
Yeah.
It's like people say, "What? You just like fucking boil your yard clipping?" So yeah, it's hemp. But it was the yard clipping of one of my neighbor that was a hemp
Yeah.
farmer. So, so there's that.
What are we talking about right now?
I don't know. We're just like going to chat and we're just
No, I
shooting
mean like what is made of hemp? What are you talking about?
hemp tea.
Hemp tea.
Yeah, a tea made out of hemp. Hemp.
Interesting.
So you just like take hemp and you boil it and then you drink it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Supposed
it's
to have like anti-inflammatory property, but I just drink it because I like the taste. Yeah.
And does it taste like grass like that?
It tastes like spinach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I love spinach.
That's
Kansas
interesting.
City barbecue is different than Texas. It's different than South Carolina is different. Yeah. Like is it like Memphis style? I kind of like. That's what I know. A little more spicy, right?
Yeah, Texas doesn't really have a lot of sweet. They definitely have that. They have barbecue sauce, but it's like you either put barbecue sauce on it or you don't.
Yeah.
Typically, you don't.
I don't. Yeah. Yeah. You're being offensive to our culture now, MrMax.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not defending your honor.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that, Flame Zombie. How many times have you heard the wind goes flowing down the plain, guy? Oh, in Oklahoma. Heard?
Yeah.
Live, man. Wind chill taking us from 60 to 40 in a minute. We're talking speed now. He's the corn at least. Still has eyes, elephant eyes. Oh no, people like you don't like Chimarao? You're not allowed to put feet on into this land. I'm sorry.
There you go.
I
You've been
don't know.
banished.
Maybe like I only like mate yerba mate here. I never had it in Brazil. I don't know.
Isn't yerba mate like I don't know why I'm thinking it's like a kombucha or something.
No, it's like this kind of a weird fucking tea that you drink with like a special straw that got a filter in it. I think that's the most thing that annoys me. Like it's too much like this.
It's a lot of tools.
It's a lot of exactly. You need a lot of paraphernalia to enjoy mate, and doesn't like a fucking the RPG pundit drink that sometime in his stream. He's like this Vietnamese coffee or the mate kind of shit, right? I don't know.
I love Vietnamese coffee.
You like Vietnamese coffee? Well, you should hang out with him then.
I should. Get at me. Get at me.
To be honest, we don't grow a ton of corn. Like people like bean. Yeah, everybody want to buy.
I want to grow some corn this year.
You want to grow some corn this year?
Yeah.
You got to drink the OG style in a round with buddies, sharing it, true spice. Yeah, coffee style. All right. Okay, maybe.
So you're like sitting around a big pot with weird filter straws, like a hookah.
Yeah, that you share. You all drink from the same straw. Are you the kind of that guy that don't? I don't fucking care.
You don't care if I'm that kind of guy.
No, I don't care. I don't care. Like sharing straw, sharing glass, whatever.
Oh
right?
yeah, I'm
taking a bite from somebody else's burger.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in. I like to farm people's germs.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the one you should watch out for. You know what I mean? You shouldn't share with me, but I'm good.
You're asking a Finn video. Oh yeah, there you go. Like Flame Zombies, like the coffee nerd, coffee snob. Sorry.
Is that what a Finn video is?
A Finn isn't Finn like this Vietnamese coffee? Is that what they call it?
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Sound like a.
Sorry, Flame Zombie's way smarter than me, so I don't know that. Yeah, WWII. That's right.
He's a smart kid. Yeah, WWII.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finn is Vietnamese coffee brewer.
Yeah, Flame Zombies. I want Flame Zombie to make me a coffee one day. We got to go meet up at a convention. Find a convention we both are interested in.
I don't like coffee culture, to be honest.
Then you can bring your briefcase full of paraphernalia and make me a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And I'll pay you $1,000 or however much it costs. I'm not going to pay you $1,000. This is not an offer.
Phil, are we wrapping it up, or we talk some shit more, or we talk about the other topic, or we wait until we have like more people in?
I think we need to wait on the other topic.
Yeah.
I'm down for talking more shit for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm down too. I got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. culture is obnoxious. I have no no. I have to preface everything with I know most of us are annoying, but yeah, man.
No, that's the ideal.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. Join Flame Zombie. I put the link in the chat for you to join.
Man, please.
And Nicholas, you're always welcome. I don't know why you never joined my stream. Probably because being associated with me is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't need to fucking send you the link. True, I forgot. Like Flame Zombies on my we share the StreamYard account.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Oh, I'm not logged in right now though. Sorry.
You guys are sharing your StreamYard?
My fiance was going to bed, so.
Oh, that's good. How you been, man?
I've been pretty good.
Fuck, man.
I know. Both of us have been fucking busy as hell.
Well, yeah, we could say that.
I can say that at least. You can. Yeah. You just take that, just
yeah, busy with some stuff. Yeah, dealing with some shit.
Yeah,
I've been on spring break.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
Did you get naked?
2024.
Did you get naked?
I got naked a few times. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Watch out.
Oh, Phil gone wild.
Yeah. I got some beads.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Max, you want good meat in the United States? Aishin
bar. I don't like meat. It's too sweet.
Meat.
I just said another sweet too.
Meat.
Oh, meat.
That's funny because I thought you said mead, Max.
No, yeah, earlier. They only do fried chicken.
Fried chicken?
Yeah, that's all they have. Yep.
It's bone in, right? We're not.
Oh yeah, the whole chicken. You can order a half. You can order a half chicken or a whole chicken, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then okra.
I bet a whole chicken deep fried is awesome.
Yeah, I like roasted chicken.
It's pretty amazing.
I like eating a whole fucking roasted chicken.
I think on the weekends they go through like 1,000 whole chickens or something. And Okarchi is like a middle of nowhere. It's a town of like 2,000 people.
It's like a chicken holocaust.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm breaking my own rules now.
No, that word had a meaning before World War II. It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, shit, that means I broke it though. Damn it.
How you been, man?
I've been pretty good. I've been pretty good.
Your my class started again?
Yeah. Finally managed to start that again. I've been because long story short, I left all my equipment in my fiance's car and then it broke down and it took about 3 weeks to fix it because it's a piece of shit. So
oh, look at that.
Is this your fighting stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, bueno,
hey, Nicholas.
Four of us.
Good man. Yes. Welcome, man.
What else have I been doing? I've been reloading some shotgun slugs.
Oh really? Oh, you reload your shotgun shell as well?
Yeah. Because you can't find. I bought a box of buckshot the other day. And it's like $2 a round now. It's fucking expensive. Or you could get a box of 25 rounds of birdshot and then do wax slugs for like 75 cents a round. So
I think it's Nicholas.
Yeah, is Nicholas having a call? It's not okay. Yeah, I still hear everyone with my headphones.
I'm just chilling here.
Yeah. Hi. Nicholas, can you go in the Nicholas, can you go in the StreamYard option? You're gonna get a setting wheel there. If you go in audio there, you're gonna have like take cancellation. Make sure it's checked.
Okay. Is it fine now?
Is it fine now?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been having problems with StreamYard. Always the echo, but.
Yeah. Well, now. Is that what did you check that?
Yeah.
And it solved the problem? There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how you doing, Nicholas?
Yeah, seeing you in chat.
Fine, man. Still summer over here, so kind of suffering through it a bit. But
yeah, we're getting there here. Yeah. But winter, I guess in the south, you get a little chillier in the winter, but even like not that cold either, right?
Yeah, it's pretty chill over here during the winter, but like it's probably what now? Probably 26 Celsius.
26 Celsius is what we get here in summer, so
Yeah, this is our summer here as well.
Yeah.
Do they have? Is there like a tradition in the Southern Hemisphere where they swim on Christmas? Is that a thing?
Well, Christmas is on summer, so I guess people go to the beaches. But
I'm saying, is that like a
it's
tradition?
not like a tradition. No.
No. Okay.
It's just during like your vacation, so people normally go
Gotcha.
to the beaches and stuff.
Yeah.
But you guys
Yeah.
don't do pine trees, probably. You
Um,
have like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, we do the Christmas tree thing. Sometimes the Christmas tree has a fake
It's fake. Yeah.
flake. No, yeah, snowflakes because it's freaking hot. But
But Phil, that
nice.
pines are not just something in the northern climate, eh?
Yeah, I guess they're year round. They're evergreen. So
I
why
mean,
would they exist?
they grow here in southeast Oklahoma, so
Yeah, and
they
they
grow
like
in
they like a dry climate as well.
Mhm.
Like Lebanon is known for their pine tree.
really, I didn't know that. Hmm.
Well, it's on their flag. There's a pine tree on the flag.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah,
Yes, I
because
didn't
like
know
the little needle are good to lose less water. So
Mhm.
when there's like in arid climate, they thrive there as well. I mean, if you
Yeah.
go in the Garrigue in France, there's gonna be a lot of pine and shit like that.
But yeah, this is a fiend.
I have
Yeah.
one of those.
Yeah.
You got any tricks for that? It like never drains fast enough. Like I'm trying to
Oh,
get shit
if
done.
it's not draining fast enough, then you're probably grinding too fine.
Too fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Too fine, you're clogging up the little holes. You want like medium fine. These are finicky. I'll like they're pretty tricky to use.
Sometimes it's like drains super fast.
It seems
sometimes it
really
doesn't drain.
inconsistent. Like what I've had my best luck doing is using it almost like a steep and release. So if you find it stalling, then just agitate it, just get a spoon in there and stir it up, and that'll help it go down. And also, I don't use this lid to cover it up because then air can't get through and it blocks it off. So I leave it cocked to the side so that air can get through
if
it.
it's not draining, I'll take it off.
Yeah.
But if it is, then I want the vacuum, I guess.
Well, you want this to keep the heat in. Because if you just leave it off, then your water starts getting cold and you don't get very good extraction.
I thought it was like it would make a vacuum so that the water would stay in it and get more.
No, the resistance is supposed to be from the coarseness or fineness of your grounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you always make coffee with that little thing?
No, this is probably the one I use the least, to be honest. I pretty much only use this for Vietnamese coffee. I don't like I like paper filtered coffee. I don't like sediment in my coffee.
I see.
Are you a coffee snob as well, Nicholas?
I don't drink coffee actually.
You don't drink coffee? Oh, me neither.
Weird.
Me neither.
Yeah. Well, I guess Americans are disproportionate coffee drinkers, though. So.
Yeah.
You think so?
Do we drink? I believe.
Yes.
I believe Americans drink more coffee than any other country in the world per capita.
More than Italian and like French and shit like that.
I think so.
Really?
Mainly because of our military, but
fucking French people, like they fucking put coffee in baby bottle, right?
Yeah.
But you don't drink coffee. I guess you're a French Canadian.
I'm French Canadian. It's not the same thing.
You don't count.
I don't count. Yeah. Nicholas, was that something you want to talk about? Oh, sorry. Phil.
No, you're fine.
No, man, I'm chill. It's like pretty late over here. Just
Yeah.
Nicholas, what kind of game do you want to play? What kind of role playing game? What do we got to do to get you off the bench?
Tyler too, man. Tyler, you have to join us.
I do.
You said you're available You're available Monday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a game, man.
Mm-hmm.
Are you available tomorrow?
Are you available tomorrow, Tyler?
I should be.
You want to join like a space pirate game?
Sure. I could do that.
Come be space pirates.
Want to see some neck action? By yours truly, Phil.
Some what action?
Net.
Math?
Net.
Neck?
You know Is my audio really that bad?
Net.
You're a bit quiet.
Saying like because we're
please
gonna have
next time, try not
nets,
to.
thunder nets.
Also, like, net action. Yeah. Also, like, I don't have like my fucking earbud. Like
Nicholas is a little
fucked
quiet
up.
comparatively.
And
Yeah,
like,
I'll.
That's
do
better.
thing.
What you're doing.
You should tape it to
That's
your
okay.
beard, and then
Yeah.
that'll be.
I'll hook on my mustache.
Yeah.
The thing is, the game feel like I'd be down to any game. The problem is the time. Like on Monday,
Yeah. Well, that's good.
I can't be there. So
What's your spot?
Friday and Wednesday would be the best. Like at the time you guys usually start, that would be optimal for me.
I can do every other Wednesday. That works for me.
And weekends as well. But that's a different case.
I think we should. It seems like changing the day is going to happen here.
Well, I think we should keep the Monday game, but we can do like extra games, especially since there's more of us, right? Where we're growing the group, which was always kind of like a part of the goal, right?
Certainly.
Yeah, my currently running Monday game is about to end, either next session or the one after that, depending on how things turn out. So
yeah.
What game are you running, by the way?
I'm playing in a Pathfinder game that is based on it's kind of like fantasy gang warfare. It's been really interesting. We it started as gang warfare, and then we uncovered a big plot from a weird esoteric mages in the college tapping into things they shouldn't be tapping into, trying to bring about like a strange dream realm that overlaps the real realm. So very like trippy, psychedelic. You can't tell. Playing a lot with unreliable narration. Weird. We have a weird, creepy, super intelligent kid, like 7-year-old kid with us. So yeah,
that can like
fun.
Turn.
We finally collected enough
things.
Yeah, we finally collected enough enough evidence to figure out who it was at the college, bring him to justice. We cut off his hand last session, and that's where we stopped.
Smart.
All right. What level are you?
9.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
You didn't go into the crazy fucking 20 level and.
No, that's my Friday game. My Friday games, I think they're level 18. Yeah, they're level 18 right now.
Yeah.
They started at 4 years ago.
Things get insane there.
Yes. I mean, that's why, I'm part of the group that says throw balance out the window. If you're playing a bunch of level 18, basically demigods at this point, then you should feel powerful. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're ever gonna feel powerful.
Yeah. I like
everything level up with you.
Oh god, yeah, it's so annoying. No, it's like, well, people complain about how long the combat takes in these D20 systems, and it's like, well, yeah, but if you're doing, 100 damage on an attack and you're fighting stuff that's in the world that has 60, 80 health, then you fly through combat. So, and most of the time, I don't even need to look at AC because it's like this thing has an AC of 20. You have a plus 30 to hit. I don't need you to make a roll. Just tell me you're going to go hit the thing in the head. And
tell me how things die.
Yeah, exactly.
That was about to say, if you go to the whole rigmarole, like rigmarole of doing like the initiative roll and going around the table, like at some point, like it just become meaningless, right? You just
no, like the last combat they had on the Friday campaign, I looked and I was like, well, these constructs don't notice you before they notice them. That's it. It's as simple as that.
You won.
Did you say you're playing for 3 years now?
4.
Four.
Yep.
Is this your longest one?
Yep.
Campaign?
Yep. That's
crazy, man.
Yep. I've had 2 players get tattoos of their characters.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You've done something right then.
Yeah, apparently. No, I mean, some of my players.
Yeah, are you a GM in that, or?
Yeah, I run it. Some of my players that left were like just the other day talking about something that happened like years ago in the game, and I was like, "Holy crap! Yeah, that did." I'm glad. We have hurdles, obviously, and there's always things I'm looking to improve. But it's like the fact that I at least have things that people can remember from,
Yeah.
Just want to say a good night to Doc Flamingo and see you tomorrow
good night
for the Traveler game.
See you tomorrow.
He's gonna be in our Traveler game tomorrow. Yep. So
do you play it personally?
Like, yeah, I played in person. Yeah, that's the only reason I don't upload the games. Otherwise, I would.
I mean, nothing stops you from like setting up like a camera.
I can't mic everyone up. My mic's cardioid. So I would be getting half the table.
Yeah.
You don't have a setting to put it like a Omni?
No, it's only a cardioid mic.
What you got for mic?
Fifine H string of numbers.
What brand is it?
Fifine. It's a Chinese brand.
Okay, I don't know it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Nicholas, I wanted to ask you something.
Yeah, man.
You heard about like WWII that they stopped the magic card and the D&D book in Portuguese?
Yeah,
in lots
to be
of
honest,
languages.
I couldn't care less. But I mean, like most people who play games already speak a level of English, so like I don't think it will change much,
Because that's what I was saying. Like all the people that I met in Brazil that were into RPG, they all had their book in English.
Exactly.
But the thing, but I got to say though, the people I met were mostly like pretty well off, like upper, so there's that too, right?
I don't know, man. It's like with the internet nowadays, like I said, like different degrees of English, but like enough to get a book manual and like get the hangs of it,
Yeah.
And then again, like Magic is like it's just the cards, right? So they if they know what the card does, it's fine.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but because it's the same thing in Quebec. Like I guess some people buy the D&D book in French. I don't know anybody.
They have to print it in French to put it
Never
in
met
Quebec.
such a creature.
No, like I guess maybe like children, shit like that, right? Shit like that.
Children and shit, whatever.
Yeah,
but
the books are pretty expensive over here as well, like the physical ones.
Yeah, because they're not printing locally. It's important. Yeah, but also, do you have like this thing that those like reading those terms in Portuguese kind of sound weird sometimes? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I think that's just me because most of my friends, like during games, they never showed any contempt against that. But to me, it doesn't feel natural. It just feels weird. Well, especially with names.
It's one of the things we talk about in technical writing is using acronyms, because acronyms obviously they don't translate over well, right? I mean, so if you're trying to make an acronym that spells a word, then you translate it into another, it's not going to work at all. I'm trying to think about it, because there's one, not a Magic card, but a Hearthstone card, if you know the World of Warcraft card game, that did that a while ago, and it actually made the ruling incorrect in the German version of the game. Like German players were playing with the card and were like, that card doesn't do what it says it does, because the translation totally says a different thing.
German is an insane language.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, man. Like the thing with translation is like it's also a lot about exposition. Like I first read Dune in English, and then when I watched the movie in Portuguese, it was just strange that they like some of the words, because they had to translate like steel suit and Chris knife. It was just like it felt off to me. But then some other people who like read in Portuguese or watched the movie first, they thought, like it's like natural, So it might be just an exposition thing.
I watched like the like I was obsessed with the Dune, the Lynch Dune movie when I was a boy, right? And I watched it in French, and because I was pretty young, I didn't speak English back then. But the term they came from the steel suit, they call it distill, so which works pretty well.
Yeah.
But also like the mélange, they call it spice mélange, right? Mélange is in French. And when I saw it in English, I was like, oh. Okay.
Very funny.
Does melange just mean spice?
It just means mix.
Melange, it's a mix.
Yeah.
Oh.
You don't speak French?
No, I don't speak French. I have to learn Spanish first.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is Spanish growing there? I think French is the future.
It's quite a it's a thriving language. It's exploding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Soon we're gonna make a big comeback on the world stage. The Olympics is gonna get back in French, and
it's gonna become the lingua franca, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the name.
I get there's like as long as they keep it, it's like they always try to keep it pure or whatever, right? French, they try not to change it ever.
Yeah, they have some. I forget what that kind of law is called, but
benefit for that.
Well, yeah, we have like the Académie Française in French and the office of the langue office, the Bureau of the French language.
If they keep shitting up English, then maybe we'll have to go back to French.
It's
well, but that's the thing with those organisms. Like French is French is an insane language also because it's one of the few languages like very top down, right? It's not like our dictionary. It's not like people use the word and then the dictionary describe how the word is used.
Yeah.
No, it's like you have like those top down definitions. Like, this is how the word is supposed to be.
Yeah. And
you shut your mouth when you're speaking French.
Yeah,
exactly. So in a sense, like it protects the language from like bastardization.
Yeah.
Until those organisms get captured.
Yeah,
sure.
Which is happening right now, right?
Well, it's also happening with my native languages, which I don't remember almost any of. I remember some folk songs in Cherokee, but that's about it. Because they are so protective of the language that it's like impossible to learn it. It's basically like, no, we're not going to let anybody teach it in public schools. You have to go out of your way to go to, and it's like, well, you're protecting it to see it die in the last people who can speak it, you know. So
you can probably take it on Duolingo.
yeah. You know, it's one of those things where a textbook version of a language is in some form a bastardization of it, if you think about it, you know.
Because it's not a written language?
Well, because it's not how people speak, right?
Yeah.
You speak textbook French to somebody in France, they're going to look at you like, what is this weird tourist doing? Just speak to me in English.
Yeah, same with Portuguese.
Yeah.
You had the big, quite a few years back now, you had like a big reform too in Portuguese, no? Like they changed a lot of like spelling words.
I remember I was in school. Like they basically unified like spelling wise, like text wise.
Yeah, took away all the exception and shit like that.
Yeah, like I mean, like Brazilian Portuguese like suffered, I think, like only the 4% change, while Portuguese was like a 45% change. So like for us, it didn't like minor things, but they suffered the most.
You know, it's something really funny that's vaguely related here. People will fight about the English spelling of jujitsu. Because when it was originally brought to Brazil, it was spelled J-U, jitsu. So a bunch of Brazilian jiu-jitsu schools spell it that way. But if you go to some, they will say, no, the romanization has changed. It is J-I-U, jitsu. People will get into fights about that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Conflict is good, man.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. It's entertaining, right? People got to.
It's
people
funny. Yeah. Everybody has a hill they'll die on.
Yeah. Portuguese, like from Portugal, right? So hard for me to understand.
It's hard for us to understand as well, man.
They don't fucking pronounce like vowel. They just like pronounce the consonant.
Yeah, it's strange. Like a funny thing, like a lot of common words for them are like curse words over here.
Oh, really?
Huh.
Yeah. So like it's like incredibly entertaining if you're Brazilian and you go there because they're just like dropping like the most obscene words and just something, you know, like common.
Oh, really? Hello, Nerdy Ogre. You missed most of the show. Now we're just like talking shit, right? Just because I don't know. Late.
Well, I gotta go, gentlemen.
Oh, you gotta
Pleasure
go?
meeting you. Yeah. Sorry, I had to leave as soon as you guys got on. But
nah, that's okay.
Right. See you tomorrow, Phil.
Just hopping on a whim.
See y'all tomorrow.
Be
Take
like space
care.
pirate with fucking Thundernet.
Thundernet. Let's go. See you later.
Yeah. We did the brainstorm session live
Okay.
last night. So kind of session 0. So if you wanna jump in, watch that, and then like contact Rick for get a character or some shit like that, right? Space pirate. It's tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern.
Yeah, it was
6:30
promising.
my time. Okay.
I was kind of like let down that you guys did not go with the Atlantis idea, but maybe next time. I want to see you guys play it.
Yeah, the Atlantis. I don't know much about the Atlantis yet. Like Atlantis is like it's in the last epoch game. It's like the last city on Earth, right? When the Earth like kind of revert back to a more prehistorical time. I don't know if it's the actual historical Atlantis or mythical Atlantis, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
We haven't
I
decided.
figured it was just a name because it was an
Yeah.
island and it was civilized. But
Well, they made it in it's like in Mauritania, like in the WWII, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
But
But like
yeah,
that's the thing too. So when we do those 40 sessions, sometimes we just have like those throwaway detail that are not fleshed out because until we interact with them, right? I love it. So we can do whatever we want with it.
Yeah, that's actually something I was struggling with my last session, and I think where it kind of got off the rails and fell back onto a lot of the 2D gameplay because trying to jump more into the players describe successes. So there are some tracks going somewhere, and one of the players is their character's leaning down investigating the tracks, and they succeed. They already know it's a small humanoid, and so they're trying to find more detail. They're trying to see if they can find the specific race. And so I'm like, okay, you succeed, and then they're like, well, okay, what race is it? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I gave you the success, so you can decide. Well, I don't know. It doesn't really matter ultimately. It just so it's.
So you're doing the full like mystery thing as a 4D, like you did not have it planned ahead.
No. I mean, I didn't. It was it was a long dead body. I mean, it didn't really. If it's a halfling or a dwarf or a gnome, it didn't really change things unless it does. I don't have some grand plot. It was just a single detail. It was basically just there's a person dead here, and they're dead under strange means.
Part of the main thing.
Yeah. That individual wasn't important. It was important that they were dead. So
I like what you say there, Nicholas, because like I think the mystery work best when you go full 40 with them.
Yeah.
And I was talking with the Crispy the other day on his comment because like if you come in the game prepared, right, as a GM, and you have like a mystery and like what the clue can be found more or less and what the solution to the mystery, then it becomes like a guessing game for the player, like about like
or a railroad
character or railroad.
Like, you end up dancing around the point. When I've done that in the past, God, I remember Nightmare Session where characters just would not stop. Players just wouldn't stop interacting with this single room because they were convinced there was some secret left in there. They're ripping up the carpet. They're fine. And I'm like, And if it was 4D, if I was more in the 4D mindset, I would just be like, yeah, there is. Sure, there's a secret in here. And it's telling you to get. But instead, I was just like, I was like halfway there, which is the worst place to be because I didn't want to just say out of character as the GM, guys, stop, there's nothing here, move on. So I was just letting them waste time in this room.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you can roll out with the punch. Like if they want to interact with that room, well, give them like make it there. Like bring your fucking thing there.
What I should
have done an NPC, that's when like the NPC will like, yeah, maybe we should, like,
that was my mistake. I should have had a,
I don't know if it's a mistake because that's what we're talking with Crispy as well. Like I was saying, like when you like if you have like your thing planned and stuff like that, and like the solution to the mystery, you kind of need to have the NPC to say like to jump off those clues. But then like it just become like either we figure out what the GM thought of.
Yeah.
So now it become like this guessing game of like what could he have thought of, or we're being fed the information like when we wasted enough time, right? So I think neither of those are satisfying.
Yeah,
you want to do mystery. Like mystery happen all the time too, right? People like starting like get curious about something and want to investigate something, well, there you go. You just like fucking found yourself in a mystery game now. Feed them as they look for stuff, right? Give them stuff, give them rittering, give them like, oh, you know what? I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, and I like when games. That's why I think like pre-written like modules and adventures that are mysteries, they don't tend to work very well in my opinion, just because it's like, well, one, there's the obvious issue of if somebody's run through it before, then they know the answer, or if they've accidentally read to certain spots, then that's a problem.
Now you play Clue, right? Like
yeah. That's also the issue, though, is like it often feels like things are frozen, right? It can kind of work if there is like a fixed, not necessarily a fixed solution, but a fixed, this is the guy that did it, these are the clues he left. If the villain is still moving in the background. So if while the characters are failing, if they're, fucking around, spending too much time on one house, the police show up or the guards show up or whatever, and they go, hey, this guy's killed another person, and now you go to another crime scene because you spent too much time, and now maybe it's a bit easier because it's a fresher crime scene, but another person's dead because you spent too much time. So
usually they have like the one plot point or detail that like it's essential for the game to continue, and then you have to again reroll the players to find that one thing.
That's why I said like plot. You want to have like inciting an event, right? Something to get the ball rolling, and then let the player lead, right? And just like you react to them, like be a reactive GM. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. But sometimes even if you make mistake and it's not like perfect, it doesn't really matter, right? They are not going to be banger either. Sometimes when you think about it, you think it to the game afterward and say, you know what, I could have fucking done that. It'd be like cooler if I done that at that point. But you got caught with your fucking pants down. You made something up on the spot. Well, and then maybe you can try to salvage it later if it wasn't like that good. Create something like interesting in the end. But then next time you get into a similar situation, then you remember like, oh yeah, last time I got something similar and I thought I should have done that. Now is the time to plug it, right? So you get better over time.
It's a muscle.
So it's a skill that you acquire.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Like about the 4D thing with mystery, I think it also helps a lot if you're playing like an intelligent character. Because is that thing like when you're writing a movie or a thing, like how if you're not smart, how can you write a smart character? But if you're 4Ding, because you can co-create, you can validate some of the character's insight into reality. Like therefore the character like is actually smart because he's figuring stuff out,
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, especially if you let the player make the roll, and then like, well, you succeeded, so come up with something that's gonna be true. You fail, come up with something that's not gonna be true.
That's become my a favorite of mine to do, especially when the setting is not something that's like pre-fleshed out, is with like knowledge checks. Like if you roll high on a knowledge check, well, something to be true, that's and you obviously that's a fairly high trust thing. If you roll high on a knowledge check and it's like, conveniently this guy we're fighting has a liver disease and we just have to wait like a day or so and he's gonna maybe not, but
you don't want to play with people that
winning
to win.
Yeah,
exactly. That's like you're not playing the game anymore, right?
Your success is you get to make something interesting happen.
Exactly.
But people have to understand also, like, exactly, like you winning as a player is not linked to your character winning.
Yeah.
That's not the kind of game.
I need to make a video on that because I've been thinking about that because that is sort of tied into a video I made recently on how to play a fighter and make it interesting. And I briefly mentioned like, just because your character has bad charisma doesn't mean they don't speak. They don't get to interact with those mechanics. No, some of the
don't we like YouTube is full of people with no charisma.
People with low intelligence writing books, people with people with no writing skill writing books. It's all the time. People, Yeah, I have built-in ways to win the game in my toy. Martin says, yeah. But the yeah, like just because your character's bad at something, it may have created something interesting in the investigation, right? Your character's just sort of like idiotically stumbling, putting his fingerprints all over this evidence, and then maybe that leads to one of the other characters going, "No, what are you doing, man? Come on, stop!" And it's like, "Oh, okay, now we've got a scene. Now something's happening."
I was going to mention that like everything comes back to Lord of the Rings, but like Pippin like dropping the bucket at a well, like that set up the whole thing.
Or or Gimli trying to chop the ring in half.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Isn't that so much more interesting? Wouldn't that be so much more boring if, as we often do, Gandalf just sat there and then exposition dumped about how strong the ring was and it would never work, and then
That's why it's good to have make sure that everybody can get a turn, right? Because everybody gets to do something.
Yeah.
And we even if you don't want to do something, I have a what we call anchoring statement ready. So then you can just say oh, I'm just sitting there stroking my beard, listening attentively. Then you add your turn. Basically, it's like a way to sing. I'm skipping. I have nothing to add to the scene, but your character is still there, still doing something.
They're not a floating head. Yeah,
exactly. But then, if you want to do something like rash or whatever, then you can go ahead. Yeah. Have a good night, James. Gotta go to sleep. Got class in the morning. Love you all. Normal. God bless and best of luck in your life. Hail Winter Dawn. I mean Bastard Sword. Yeah, it's Bastard Sword now.
Why did you change the name again?
Because Winter Dawn was implying a setting too much, and I didn't want that setting that I didn't want to provide. And also, it's hard for me to pronounce down. I guess that's also. I should probably a game name with a name that I can somewhat pronounce.
That's probably a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the word bastard sword, not bastards word.
It's a good word to pronounce. Rolls nicely out of the tongue. Again, about characters flaws. That's one thing I still like about your idea with the virtues and vices, because I think it helps you have the frame for a good character to roleplay.
Yeah.
Something I love about Shadowrun, there, like you start and the perks and stuff that you take automatically tie your character in the world, because you can start as with alcoholism or in a ton of debt to a specific character or to a gang or something, and then now it's like, well, okay, in addition to whatever our A plot ends up being, we got the B plot of this guy, hey, by the way, after we're done fighting all these guys, some gang's gonna come in the middle of the night and try to break my legs. So
yeah, that's why I do the character creation with the life path system as well. Because you pick oh, okay, I'm that race. I was raised in a city, and then you pick some feature of your city. It was a port city that was a big trading route. Well, and then that inform what the kind of skill that your character has and stuff like that. But it also gives you some background. You know where you're from, right? And then you can pick some life event. Oh, when I was almost died in the fire when I was a kid, right? Whatever. And then you get something from that, but also you get some. You don't need to write a backstory. It goes through, and same thing with Traveler, right? You're just Traveler start when you're 18, so you don't really know where you're from when you grew up, except outside of the world, right? And some skill you pick, but then at least I got my character. Well, I became I skipped university. I went to work. Became a pirate, and then I became a corporate spy, and then I went back to become a pirate, some shit like that, right? Just you kind of know already.
Got jumped by the governor.
Yeah, no, that's Phil. That's Phil that got fucking sponged by the governor for no good reason. And Doc Flamingo that got probed by Alien twice.
Yeah, because you guys roll his character outside of.
Oh yeah, we did it off stream. It's true. After the stream end, he managed to join us, and then we rolled his character. Yeah. We should have. I wish I would have a dream on stream because we laughed a lot during that. But
I've been converting to life paths recently. They really help a lot. Creating an interesting character, not just a stat block.
Yeah, exactly. Because your character should, like you say, like how to play a fighter, like in your video, like
Yeah.
well, you're not playing a class. You're playing a human being, or like or tabaxi being, whatever.
People miss the forest for the trees. It's like a fighter is one word on your character sheet, right?
Fighter is not who you are. It's what you do, basically. Like
it's a profession. That's it. You know,
like think about you have aspiration, you have goals, you have fear, you have love, you have
I don't have like a full life path system in the game I'm working on, but I do have like a narrative, non-mechanical things to think about when you're making a character. You know, do they have a family? Do they, do they like that family? What are their goals? What are their fears? You know, this sort of thing. You know, because those are
there's different way to go about it, but like it's important, I think, to flesh out your character. Like,
you should at least be thinking about it, if not, applying
like
some
that's why that's why I was saying, like I always say, like, Pendragon is gonna make you a better role player because, like, you're gonna play a human knight. Now think about something else to make your character unique.
Because one of my
and that's why I don't like when they add like the female knight in the new edition. Like they were there, they were present there like as an option, but like always with big caveat. You know what? Yeah, you can do it. It's like now, like they make it like more standard apparently. And I don't like it because, like, well, if you play a female knight in that world, now your character got something unique already, right? Your character, you got your stick, so you don't have to think further than that. Oh, I'm a female, I want to be a knight, and oh man, got super chat, man, it's been a while.
St. James wrote you a poem.
Yeah, St. James, $10. A baby deer was born at sunrise, and a frog decided to sing her a song. He sang, a fawn named Dawn had a long yawn at dawn, and this frog sang. Fuck, I see what you're doing. And this frog sang its song, but had trouble with Dawn because French is wrong. Did I get that halfway right?
It was understandable.
A baby deer was born at sunrise, and a frog decided to sing her a song. He sang, a fawn named Dawn. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Had a long yawn at dawn, and this frog sang its song, but had trouble with Dawn because French is wrong. Yeah.
There we go.
It sounded okay, like, to my Brazilian ears.
Minimal pairs.
Yeah.
God, you give me college PTSD flashbacks.
Like the rain in Spain stained the plane.
Fat bat cat.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the super chat, St. James. Yeah. Almost forgot that feature enabled. I turned off the membership because, like, I don't do enough stuff, right? It's not worth it.
Where are we going? Oh yeah. The one thing that yeah, good night. The one main reason that I don't, it's kind of similar to the female knights thing. The main reason I don't want to apply some mechanical, benefits and drawbacks to different stuff. Obviously, otherwise there's no game. But yeah,
strength modifier.
Yeah, but the reason I like some purely narrative driven stuff is because like with Pathfinder First Edition's trait system, and you can always argue this is if you're playing with a bad group, but that's kind of isolating a variable, right?
Yeah. You can set that for anything, right?
Yeah. Everybody takes
with an asshole, like,
well, everybody takes the trait reactionary, right? Because it just gives you +2 to initiative, and it's really hard to get reactionary.
I would think that for sure.
Yeah. Well, you're playing, but it ends up with it's like wow, everybody in this group is a reactionary. Everybody and every other character you've made is a reactionary because it's hard to get benefits to initiative.
I don't think they use the term properly though.
No, I think it's like a shoot first, ask questions later thing. But it's weird because it ends up with people, if they're playing their character correctly, almost becoming murder hobos because it's hard to get bonuses to initiative, and you end up getting into this weird numbers war where well, I don't really want to take this, but if everybody else is taking it, then I might never get to take my turn.
Yeah.
Combat's over because I'm going last, which you can argue that's an issue with initiative, but plug in a different number or a different score, right? So I don't like these like flat, non-context specific bonuses to things because you picked a certain, background. Because even if you are role-playing it, it leads to these homogenous groups where it's like, why isn't everyone in this world? Everyone in this world is adopted, or everyone in this world is just the best thing to do, And eventually, people have figured out that adopted children have a marked improvement over their non-adopted counterparts. So there's orphanages everywhere in this world.
Weaponized trauma.
Yeah.
The best thing we can do for a child, we put it for a person, and then we take another one there. We just like do the trade-off.
Yeah, because they're just way stronger or whatever. But so you really have to pay attention to weird stuff like that might happen. What do your stats say about the world? What do the mechanics say about the world in your game? Because like in original Redbox D&D, everybody's running around with a dagger and a short bow because all the weapons do the same damage die, but those attack faster. So why I think people would be insulting a lot of swordsmiths. Like, why are you even making this crap?
Yeah. I think I wanted to have use for dagger as well. That was a big part of what I was doing as well. Yeah. I don't want them to be like the ultimate weapon like what it used to be, but I want them to be useful, right? Fucking dagger.
Yeah, it's there's Filippo Vadi. I can't remember who, but he gives like military orders and like the order in which you draw your weapons, and it's like usually in a military conflict, even you're gonna be running through 3 or 4 of your weapons at a time just because they're getting knocked out of your hand, somebody's getting too close, what have you.
Yeah, that's
why
I
armored combat as well. Like if two knights were to fight each other, they'll eventually basically jiu-jitsu them with knives.
Yes, ringen, the German art of war wrestling. Lots of joint locks.
And that's the thing. Like if you in Bastard Sword, if you grapple somebody, and then you stab him with a dagger, you can basically bypass his armor.
Yeah, because you can go directly vital points, right?
Yeah, you skewer him in the niche. So yeah.
There's also
having a dagger is very useful.
There's also the societal part. Most cities would ban big weapons, like swords and stuff. So
it's effectively
and a knife is a tool. So
it's effectively if you're walking around town carrying a shotgun today, it'd be weird, right? Even in the cities that that would be totally legal here in the city I live in, but you would probably still get the cops called on you because somebody's gonna be like, "Why is this guy walking around with a shotgun?" And it would just be obnoxious. A lot of people would join the sword fighting guilds, so they would have an excuse. So when guards stopped them, they would be like, "Oh no, I'm going to sword fighting practice," or or what have you. But also just again, even if it's legal, you got a big sword, you go to a store, it's around on everything. You got to sit down, it's a trip hazard now. It's just in the way, right?
Yeah.
Most people don't. There's a statement that gets thrown around occasionally, which is something you need to remember when thinking about a weapon you're going to carry, is that 99% of the time, even if you're in an army, you're not going to use it. So you do need to think about that 1% of the time, but almost as important should be that 99% of the time that you're lugging the thing around, which is why we don't have 12-pound battle rifles really anymore. We're trying to get things as light as possible so that you can carry more ammo, you can carry more useful stuff.
Giant sword.
Yeah.
But that's the thing also, when people don't fucking care about encumbrance and stuff like that, right? Just
it's what I think when people I've built a fairly comprehensive encumbrance system in this game because I think it is something that's interesting to keep track of, especially because the survivalist mechanics in most games are really boring. It's just a single skill or two. And really, if you're doing a lot of survival, how many times are you going to want to just keep rolling, survival. I succeed, I fail, I partially succeed, I partially fail. it gets old. Whereas, I think if it's something you're doing frequently, you kind of want a fairly robust subsystem for that, right?
Like what did you do then, if you can explain it? Like
effectively I have stuff have bulk, not just weight. So yes, you could physically carry 20 swords. That would be pretty easy by weight. The issue isn't the weight, it's the bulk. Where are you putting all of those?
How do you carry them,
and you can have different stuff. You can have a frame backpack and basically tie all sorts of crap onto you, no matter really what the bulk is. Or you can have a smaller backpack that's not going to be as obnoxious if you're doing a bunch of spelunking or dungeon delving or what have you, but you're not going to be able to fit as much on it. Likewise, I have a location. So it's first in, last out. So if so you don't, like because I always run into issues in the middle of combat, for example, where somebody's, ripping a Cure Light Wounds potion or something like that. And I'm like, well, do you have these vials all over you that are just like, anytime you get pushed into a wall, they're just all shattering everywhere? I don't know where these are on you. Is that at the bottom of your backpack? Because you're not pulling that out if it's at the bottom. If it's at the top, well, then if you find something cool that you want to pick up and chuck in, well, now you're going to have to spend time, reorganizing. And then if you're spending time doing that, maybe you're in a time-sensitive environment, you're in a chase, and now you actually have to make these split-second decisions. And when you're making these split-second decisions, it takes it away from, man, I don't want to total up, 0.5 pounds here, a pound here. Instead, it becomes, can I grab that cool sword while the orc or whatever is chasing me down the hallway, and then just shove it into my backpack? And now my backpack's this big jumbled mess, and I've broken half of the glass stuff that I put on top of it and all of that.
How do you feel about slots?
Oh, you mean like magic item slots?
No, like Diablo kind of inventory, like
yeah. Like
yes, that's kind of what it is. Yeah, that's kind of what it is.
Already.
Yeah, but it's not. It doesn't just float. You can't have something just floating at the top. It always goes to the bottom.
It's like Tetris. Tetris inventory.
Yeah. Inventory Tetris, but most games that call it
that's what they call it.
Yeah. Most games that call it inventory Tetris don't. It's not actually Tetris because the pieces have no gravity, so you can just shuffle them around wherever.
You're a dog. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you do for in your game? You for encumbrance and shit?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I just I try to go with logic. Like the characters don't carry that much when I play. Like it's mostly like your main weapon or the other thing you have, and if you have a backpack or something, like could you carry that? Like would it fit inside?
Yeah.
I try to as I'm role playing the thing, I try to just go with the feeling of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's usually the best idea, right?
What Space Roadie say, you can always be something cooler than managing encumbrance in a game. I think it depends on the tone of the game you want. Like if you want something that's realistic, like the game I'm writing is a lot of it is about like the artship of adventuring and stuff like that. It's not a game that's meant to be heroic. If you want to get the game to be heroic, maybe encumbrance is not the right mechanics for it.
But your game is sorry, go on.
No, I like it because I think like encumbrance and shit like that lead to interesting choice, right? Especially if you're like survival, like okay, do I want to take more food, or we're gonna try to hunt, which mean like taking more time in the day so we can do less. Do I want to bring more weapon, or do I want to bring an extra blanket? Do I want
and it leads to consistency too, right? I struggle with a lot of games mechanics that have like a fireball was cast on you, then roll randomly to see what was destroyed on your inventory. Whereas if I something rips a hole in the bottom of your backpack and you don't notice, I know the stuff at the bottom is what's coming out first. The stuff that's smaller than the hole is what's coming out, and so we don't have this awkward interaction between player and GM where they're like, man, you just made me lose my most important thing because you wanted to be mean. And it's like, nope, that was you put it there.
And there's always also like a thing like, oh, you found treasure. Okay, are you gonna bring them back somewhere?
Right? Are you going to travel light enough to bring stuff back?
Yeah. Are you gonna hire people? But then there's more people that know that you found this big treasure. And that can bite you in the ass, right?
Buy a mule. You know, like,
Yeah, buy a
because it's
mule.
heavy. You know, like gold
Yeah.
coins. Like,
Yeah, but then
chest
you have
full
to
of
see,
gold
like
coins.
now is somebody's gonna try to steal your mule during the night? You know, just like there's all
Exactly.
things like that, right? It can lead to interesting situation.
Shauner
Yeah,
says pockets.
Yeah,
pockets. Yeah, they were not
if that's
invented in the 20 watt like
yeah,
the
if that's the tone of the
16
game,
century.
right?
1600s, thereabout.
And there's a lot of game also where it's like less relevant. Like it's like
Mm.
if you when you play like sci-fi game, right? Oh, I have like credit card, right? Or like
Yeah.
like credit,
Credit
right? Just like
sticks or whatever.
credit
Yeah.
stick or whatever, right? Just like well, then you don't
Absolutely.
have to worry about the weight
And
for
it's one of the kind of genius designs behind the magic items in Dungeons and Dragons, the bag of holding, which is just like, yeah, it is when it
Exactly,
does get boring to total the stuff up, it's a really big bang. Just cram it in there, man. Just
that's something like, because like the crunchy part of games, they are interesting to a point. Like even in video games, like like this mechanic is kind of cool, but at some it gets to a point where it's exactly like that. Like it just gets boring after like hours and hours of you know. That's my only fear when it comes to
yeah. And I haven't play tested it yet, right? So I'm
like
it
but I don't
getting
think it's your case though, Max, because your crunching is trying to serve
it's there to serve a purpose and not just
it's
to
thematically exactly. It's not just like
I
trying
think
to emulate carrying heavy stuff.
Yeah, and it's like is emulating carrying heavy stuff fun or interesting though? And it's like, well, often no, not particularly.
Yeah,
but if you're trying to do
so it is interesting when it comes to those specific situations, like you said, like the backpack having a hole in it. Then
because I'm somewhat inspired by Escape from Tarkov, where the equipment system in that game very much matters. You pick up somebody's backpack and you go, crap, it's full of junk I don't need. And do you have time to pull all the junk out, or are you going to get shot by some sniper you didn't see because you're sitting here going, ooh, pineapple juice, don't need that. Some nuts. Or do you just grab the backpack and go, that's heavy, must be good, and then run off with it?
Yeah, but in Tarkov, you'll be doing that a lot, so it's useful to have that mechanic. But then again, some mechanics you have in RPGs, like when this happened,
Yeah, it needs to be every subsystem needs to be considered, and subsystems need to be it needs to be very easy to cut a subsystem, right? This is so I've designed this to totally be like, if this is slowing your game down too much, if it's just not interesting to you at all, I mean, just get rid of it.
There's also like always like there's like it's oftentimes like if you travel light and stuff like that, you're just in town, stuff like that, you don't have to worry much about it.
Yeah, you may never interact with it.
Oh, we're going out in the wilderness. Like, oh, now I have choice to make, right? Oh, we're going in like in this. We're trying to get back treasure. Like, okay, do I want to fucking like drop that shit? What do I want to take? Like, there's like those situations where like it's an interesting choice. Oftentimes you can just like say like, well, okay, you can carry that. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, oh, you have a cart with you. You got the stuff you need, right? Just like sometimes it can be in a wave, but when it become interesting, you can bring it up. What I say, encumbrance for carry strength. That's also a thing. Like when game that do like, oh, this is 5 pound and this is 0.5 pound, and then you have to add it all up. Like that's not good. I think similar to Tyler with the Tyler, so this way with the like I call it burden instead of bulk, which is also like a mix between the weight and the carry stuff.
Because I mean, I was personally inspired because I work maintenance, and you'll have a box that's 20 pounds, but it's way wide, and a box that's 50 pounds. That 20-pound box is way harder to move than that 50-pound box is. So
and I also have like a kind of a pack system because like your carry limit is fairly low before you start getting like a malus. So I wanted to push the player to be, well, you're gonna be encumbered. You're gonna go adventuring stuff like that. You're gonna be encumbered you're gonna be burdened to some extent.
It's almost the point, right?
It's almost the point. And the first time like you got like this burden limit that you can carry without penalty, then you get like one success penalty on your roll, and then if you've passed it again, you get 3 So it goes up more and more. And if you pass it again, then you get 10 success. It's always like 1, 3, 10. That's the pattern that always come back in the game.
You know, and I always like having more. I think I think like this is really where like plate armor should be way stronger when it's actually being used, and it should be way more obnoxious to carry around. But in most games, it's neither of those things. It's not useful enough, and it's not burdensome enough.
In Bastard Sword, like if you get plate armor, you're like fucking you're fucking plated. You're pretty safe from a lot of attack. And all right, unless they use a dagger.
No, not even. That's like the synesthesia I talked about early in the stream. Like, when do you want to have this mechanic that helps the player feel what the character is feeling? Because it's annoying. So do you want to have a mechanic that annoys the player so he can?
I get what you mean.
That to prevent him from just metagaming, you know?
Yeah.
Because like, my character can sleep well, like whatever, you know. Like,
I don't have whatever, you know.
Yeah, like,
care, but
like a video game, you know, like Skyrim, like you treat your companions like people.
Yeah, there is definitely a line of that, right? You don't want to you want to be in the flow of just annoying enough to be interestingly challenging, but not so annoying that it makes a player go, I'm done with this game, whatever, I'm not gonna interact with it, right?
Yeah, I get what you mean with the synesthesia now. If you want to if something is that it would be annoying in
real life,
world, it should be annoying like at the table.
Like
I think
you can't do that, like go over the top, because
you're
gonna end up LARPing. But
and I think you should be turning a that's something I kind of struggle with martial arts teaching too. I mean, I've lost students to well, the other guy's bigger and stronger than you, so he's going to beat you in wrestling, even if you're better. I actually have a video to upload where one of my students, he's twice my size, he's pretty much kicking my ass this whole roll until the very end of it, and it's like, it's he's my student, but you know, there's only so much work that technique can get done, and that reality is kind of annoying, right?
But yeah, like the pack stuff I do, like I'm expecting you to be burdened to some extent, so to have some malleus, and then you have to choose like what kind of pack you can carry. If you have a backpack, like you can carry a little more, right? Because they reduce like your burden, but you're still probably going to be burdened. And if you want to take it off quickly, it kind of take you in action, basically. Like you know, you cannot just like you can just like carry a bag in your hand. It's gonna be like more burdensome. You don't have like it's not gonna reduce your burden much, but then just, like drop it for a free action.
You know, John Wick, you know, are you wearing a plate carrier and have your bandoliers with your shotgun shells really nicely accessible so you can load them really quickly? But it's obvious that you're walking around covered in weapons, or you just have some shells in your pocket, and if you need to reload, you're fumbling around going, there's one.
That's something in your backpack you won't be able to access this during combat. So, outside of combat, it doesn't really matter.
And that should create like not an annoying scene. It should create a tense scene. It should be like, oh, crap! I wasn't expecting to get into combat at all. Now, let alone reload. Now
there's also the situation like, oh, you're gonna fight. Do you want to drop your pack?
Yeah.
Before you fight, do you want to take the risk that somebody's gonna steal your pack and run away with it? If you have to run away, are you gonna leave your pack behind? Are you like all those things you need to consider, right?
A failed consideration with weapons too. I mean, if you've got are you taking a two-handed weapon? Well, speaking of Bastard Sword, one of the advantages of that is, well, I can take my hand off, I can climb a ladder, I can push, a civilian back out of the way and then attack the guy that's trying to attack me. If I've got a weapon that needs two hands, well, now I kind of have to make a choice.
But that's how you train players, like make them drop the backpack, have like a little guy come in and steal, and like, oh, the world is alive,
Yeah, it's
there's called mentally.
God, fantasy accounting. It's the bane of every session. Like when you're into fantasy accounting and not something interesting, that's the stuff that should be done in between sessions, if it's done.
That's also the thing you can kind of keep like real time, right? If your player like take like fucking an hour to like at some point you need to go, right? Put them like a little light of fire between under them, right? okay, what do we bring for what do we bring on that adventure on that trip? Like, well, think about it and make choice, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's
you can
what
think
that's
about
what
it
I liked
beforehand as well.
about your guys' brainstorm session. Like the talk you guys were having are the talk people are having at the game. Like you're deciding like, oh, how does the ship, like intercept the Stargate, and so you do that out of the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's part of that's why the session 06 should exist, no? So we don't have to do the modern AI question, and then like we define the big line, and then once we have like a common understanding, then the rest, the little detail, then we can just like make it up on like even as players.
You can fill in the rest,
Already
right?
common knowledge. Right
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. But we kind of know where we're going, where we're coming from.
And again, I think part of what helps the Mother May I is being okay with not knowing something, right?
Yeah.
Like, having a character just be like, what? You can do that? Okay. Who knew?
And then like, well, then like that's defined like in that game, like we have to like we're creating that like the story, the session, the setting. It's like it's in a way it's getting created through play, right? Like like people like come to this like they assume that something exists up front.
Like
No,
people
you make the path as you walk on it, right?
Yeah, people spam this like emergent gameplay term, but like they fail to define it really well, and that's kind of what it is, what it should be anyways, is we don't know everything about everything yet. We're not just here to get lore dumped by one person or another, or for a player that knows the lore to go, oh, the thing is happening. It's way more exciting to go, holy crap, I didn't know that guy was going to betray us. And then the GM's thinking, I didn't know this guy was going to betray you until 15 minutes ago. And it just sort of happened that way. That's way cooler than me just sitting there knowing, and when do I spring this on? And when, that's fun once or twice. But
have you guys played a session where the setting is like based on a book or a movie, where you have like this, like Lord of the Rings, let's say, like they have this huge lore behind it? Have you ever played that? Like, how did you, or did you have a guy that is like super into the game?
That's
like,
in the first game where
don't do that,
in the first werewolf game that we played with Phil, right? When Phil like we were listening to us, right? And he said like, you know what, I'm interested in that 4D shit. I'm gonna try run a game for you if you like. That's how he got into our circle, right? I'd say, right, fine, let's go, let's do it. I love I used to love werewolf when I was a lad, right? And we're just playing the game, and at some point I just like start like doing stuff like to like probe for some information, whatever. And then like Phil kind of got stunned and said, well, that's exactly not, that's like he didn't say anything, but he was thinking like that's not how it works in the setting. And kind of like and then we talk about it after the game and say it doesn't matter. Like I'm doing something, I'm giving you like are we trying to figure out information and interact with the world in some way to try to get that information. Just roll with it, right? It doesn't matter if the book says it's not there. Like, no, now we're establishing through those actions that okay, that kind of work.
It
right?
may just mean a character believes that is there, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to, characters, just as we can have an unreliable narrator, we can have unreliable characters, right?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like if you want to play in a setting, in a pre-established setting, you kind of, I think you kind of have to make it clear to your player, like we might stray away from its official, especially if like big nerds that are all just like, oh, I know about everything about it. I like one thing that I like. Sorry.
No autistically screeching at the table.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
well, it's like nerds. I'm running in Pathfinder's official setting, Galarian, but we are not caught up with, because I started it in first edition and I'm still running it in first edition. And we're not going to be one-to-one with the official timeline, right? We're branching because the characters have made different decisions. And I take it as, just all of the modules, all the different adventure paths, they're all happening, even though the characters at my table aren't doing them. So different stuff's happening. They came to one and I was like, well, nobody ever came to fix this problem. This town's just gone now. Nobody came to fix it. So it's a thing they heard about months ago in game. They were finally like, oh, you know what? That's actually on our way to the next thing. Let's hit this and see what's going on. And they were like, oh, oops.
Yeah. Yeah. And like one thing I like that Bear said at some point, like Bear is a big Star Trek guy, and he said like when sometimes I play like Star Trek game, and what we do with the TV show, right? I tell the player like the TV show or like TV show in that world, right? We play in the world of Star Trek, but it's like in our world when we watch like NCIS and stuff like that, right?
Mm.
So like you have to, like your character, like there's something that are like that in the world that are gonna work like in the TV show, and something that are made for the TV show that are romance and stuff like that. So it's not gonna be exactly. So you can get like ideas. I have an idea of how things work, but sometimes we're gonna stray away from it, right?
Especially if you're playing in like a modern setting, like or like near future, like Shadowrun. I mean, Shadowrun has a lot of licensed stuff, right? Which makes it, like you've got the Sony Ericsson, and it still is like a modern, super smartphone, which is, there's funny stuff like that, but they don't have the licensing rights to everything. So I'm like, well, obviously McDonald's is going to be there, right? And that's endless. That's endless hilarity as you're running to the McDonald's security. The McDonald's turrets pop out, and
yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. And there's some setting also that I think don't work too well with the for like I don't like a setting where like a big story has been told, or like I'm a big fan of like Dune, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people they run games in these pre-established settings, and it's like your job to make sure the story happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, where it's like you have to.
I tried to run the Modifius Dune thing, but what we did was like, it's like the time frame was like during the a few years before it was movie, but like a different planet, a different system, like a different house, like just inhabiting the same universe. That's all.
Yeah, but like sometimes those stories like that, like nothing is gonna do is gonna be as cool as the main story, right?
Exactly.
So it's like always like we're always like doing a B plot, right?
Yeah.
Like I am the type of guy that gets immersed into like a game or something, and I consume everything about that. But like the small details are what get me, like how they make their food and stuff like that. So like I'm content with that. I don't need the grandiose story. Just being in the world like is already interesting enough to me.
Yeah, and that can be true a lot of the times. One of the things that I think is pretty clever that Paizo wrote actually before they went kind of insane. Well, probably none of the writers there now or any of the writers that were there even 5 years ago, because that's the way the economy's gone. But I think something clever they did is that the goddess of fate in Galarian, the main setting, all of her followers have gone insane, and she has like all of her churches are dilapidated because there is no fate, and that's sort of to represent that the players interacting with the game means that you cannot have a fixed, set in stone, fatalistic world. And like that's really cool. That's some neat meta commentary. Yeah, I wish more people would play Pathfinder as if that were the case, but
yeah, the math is what scares me. I'm very slow when it comes to numbers, like so.
Yeah, already.
Yeah, it's a mental block when it comes to math.
You think like finding half of something is hard?
Sorry?
Like no, because we were talking about that with Phil earlier. Because I said like, oh, you're going half your missing spirit point, right?
Like by 2, like you said, is like very elementary. Like that, like if 4 it goes to 2, like, or if 3 you round to the lowest, like, that's fine. But like when you divide by 3 and so it's like
if you divide by 3, it's starting to be a mess.
Exactly.
Yeah, people call it Mathfinder, but really the numbers are just big. That's it. It's
well, for me, it's not like the numbers are big. It's like you sometimes like you're gonna have to pick an like a few modifier, right? Oh, I got a +2.
No conditional modifier. God, those are fucking annoying. Yeah, where it's like, well, yeah, you can do this, but multiple deflection bonuses don't stack; they overlap. So use the highest deflection bonus, and you're like hunting for things. Usually, though, you won't have to do that in a tense situation. That's more of a write that down on your character sheet. You just know now.
Yeah. Anyway, I think I'm gonna wrap that stream now. Like it's fucking midnight now. It's late.
Forget you're ahead of me.
Yeah, I forgot like Brazil now. Like we used to be in the same time in the when it's winter here, but
Oh.
Now you don't do the daylight saving time anymore, right?
Yeah, it's like 1:30 now.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
with Brazil,
fine.
we used to be like same time half the year and 2 hour difference the other half.
Hmm.
But like yeah, now we don't. You don't do a daylight saving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine, man.
Well, thank you for joining me, guys, and thank you
Yeah,
for the
of course.
people that watch in chat, and thank you again, James, for the big super chat. But and thank you for people that are gonna watch that on the replay. Again, I used to always say that. You know, if you watch those on replay, like they're made to be joined live and hang out in chat and stuff like that. So if you can make it live, do it. But I still appreciate if you watch on the replay, right? And I'll be back tomorrow, I guess, with for this traveler game, which we were gonna play like Space Pirate with Dune Inspire Shield and a Thunder Net net
It's like
gun.
net wielding maniac.
Yeah, capture people in net because they have their shield, right?
Okay, I see. I was wondering where it came from. I was, I
What
was
did
out
you,
of the loop.
why don't they do that in Dune, right?
+3 on
Yes,
man.
it's a good idea.
Yeah. And then I think I'm gonna be on a guest on Black Lodge Game stream on Thursday.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
And then I'll
nice.
be back next week for another Tear Off Your Skin. So I hope to I'll see you then.
Have a
Sweet.
beauty.
Take care, guys. Have a good night.
Hey,
Bye.
you guys.
I'm ending the stream
Bye.
now.
Bye.